Yeah, look at that tailgate setup for John Cornish. That is outstanding. Are you guys ready for a fantastic night of football Sunday night? Quick Six. I'm quite familiar with Quick Six, to tell you the truth. Love to see the youngsters out. And look at that. Double blue in Calgary, enemy territory. But, man, they seem a little bit too happy right now if you are a Stamps fan. There's Jake Mayer looking calm and collected, but he's going to want a better effort out of his offense as they were held to just 6 points in Ottawa last week in a loss. Maybe they could have used this guy. Yeah, Kadeem, Cash, and Carey. He's going to make sure the Stamps want a little bit of that old thing back, fellas, but the Stamps may have something to say about that. Welcome to CFL on TSN. Enoch Mwamba, Matt Dunnigan, Jermaine Franklin here with you, and we're going to start with the man we just saw. He has perhaps one of the greatest smiles in football, in professional sports, to tell the truth. But when it comes to Kadeem Carey, he's going to try and make sure the Stamps regretted letting him walk.
Absolutely. This is a running back that plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he's a passionate running back, and he's a likable guy. And Kadeem Carey can bring it, and he did against Winnipeg, and you don't see that happen very often. Adam Big Hill getting trucked like that, but hey, they're going to need a lot of him tonight, in my opinion.
No, absolutely, and he's coming back to a place that he's very familiar, Matt. He's played there, and coming back, you know how that feels, the jitters and the excitement, just a little bit of oomph to your step. So he's going to be quite excited going back to Calgary and show what he's got. He's just second behind Brady Oliveira, so he's had a very consistent season with that, changes in the quarterback, right? And he's been sharing the backfield, but he's doing very well. And talk about the running back on the other side.
Yeah, Dedrick Mills has left camp, and as Peyton Logan now, they're going to take his spot. And to me, that's a story within itself. Defensively for the Toronto Argonauts, we've got Wynton McManus out of the lineup. Enoch, you play with him. What's that mean to that football
team? It's a huge loss. He's the heart and soul of this defense, really of this team. He's the energizer guy from on that team, so it's going to be a huge loss not having him on the field tonight.
Yeah, Wynton McManus, he really is a leader. And here we go with the players coming out ready to play. We got kickoff next. Chris Waterfield of Lethbridge, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. And if kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. 2 kickoffs, $1 million. Let's go to Marshall and Paul.
Thank you, Jermaine, and welcome to Calgary, everyone. The friendly confines of McMahon Stadium have the Stamps 3-0 on home turf. With so many connections between these two clubs, Toronto would love nothing more than to ruin the party. Welcome to McMahon Stadium, everyone. Marshall Ferguson, Paul Lapolice, Farhan Lalji is down at field level for us here throughout the evening. And if there's one player who really wants to ruin the party, Lapo, it's the starting running back for the double blue. It's Kadeem Carey.
Yeah, Kadeem Carey this week talking about, in interviews, second leading rusher in the Canadian Football League. what he said is, hey, listen, I've had a lot of success on this football field, and I'm going to do it again this week. And Peyton Logan, you know, you got to be a guy who can do a lot of things, Marshall. You know, he only got 9 carries, 85 yards this season, but he's a returner. Now you've got a speed player who's going to go against that vaunted Argonaut defense.
Absolutely. For Dave Dickinson coming home, very happy to have his lineup getting a little bit healthier. And for Ryan Dinwiddie, you got to wonder, is this a statement game? 5 players off the 6 game back on the roster. Happenstance or trying to get a big win right here in Calgary as the opening kickoff hammered through the back of the end zone, and we rarely see that. Morris Beatty could have used that earlier this year at Edmonton, certainly.
Amazing. Well, so interesting thing tonight is, you know, for Calgary offensively, so how are they going to be able to run the ball versus this, you know, this is the second best rush defense in the Canadian Football League. So I expect they need to protect some of their core runs. What does that mean? You got to get some perimeter runs. You got to get some perimeter screens. Get them going with some easy completions, and don't just try to run it up inside this really good defense.
Tough loss last week for the Calgary Stampeders, 33-6 at Ottawa. Jake Mayer had his 9-game touchdown streak snapped against the Red Blacks. We'll see what he does here today. As he begins looking over the middle, Reggie Begelton, why not, had a monster game against these Argonauts last August in Toronto.
There's a lot of zone coverage you're going to see tonight from this football team on defense from the Argos. Reggie Begelton, he's just going to run a post, and he's going to lean inside the Will linebacker. As the Will linebacker expands, what do? You throw a shot just inside him. Nice throw before the safety can get there. So great throw to start this game.
Jake Mayer in rhythm already, is in that game that Begelton had so much success. 384 yards and 4 touchdowns last year for Mayer. Now they go to Logan, his first touch of the ball game, as he'll be wrapped up and brought down after a gain of 6. Let's meet the rest of the Stampeder offense.
Christy Nakanyu, first-year player, Washington State. He will start at right guard as Zach Williams goes to the 6-game injured list. And Reggie Begelton, only averaging 30 yards per game, but he's who the Stamps are going to look for second down conversions. He's the guy who creates first downs for them. And Clark Barnes back in the roster, Marshall.
Yeah, good to see him back after being a game-time decision in Ottawa last week. Couldn't go, but number 14 in red and white back in the lineup. Hard count here. Looks like they got an offside against the Argos. They'll take a shot with it down the field. It is incomplete, but it will move forward. And Reggie Begelton was actually saying, wait, was I offside? Turn to the official. They said, no, D-line.
Toronto, number 94.
You see that throw here, and you're like, why are you throwing it with that guy that far off? He's just taking a shot, trying to see if he can get a play, because he understood he's got the yardage for 2nd and 1. So now you get your short yardage team come out, and you're going to get the quarterback sneak and already put themselves in position already for a field goal, Marshall.
Jake Serezna, the offending party that time, offsides. The man they call in this Argonauts locker room, Captain America. And we learned this week, Big Steak. Our man Dwayne Ford would love that. As Tommy Stevens in under center, drives his way to the right, and he'll pick up the first down once again. As let's meet the Argonauts defense.
The return of the man they call Flo Arimilade in his pass rush drills. I mean, this is already the best defense sacking the football. Bringing him in is going to be amazing. The man they call JJ, or John Jones, going to bring his speed and athletic ability at linebacker. A great player filling in for Wynton McManus. And I don't know if this guy's got a nickname or not. Tavares Fattern, he's got a pick 6 last week. The only touchdown for the Argos in their win. And he was only on the roster just last week. First week on the roster.
Incredible to see him coming back to the Argonauts here after a little stint on the practice roster in Ottawa, as Mayer looks over the middle. Once again, Reggie Begelton running in space, threw the brakes on and pushed down at the 10-yard line. Ball came out at the end, but it looks like he was down before the football came loose. Reggie Begelton off and running.
There's a pressure off the outside. You'll see right here. Priester is coming off the edge. That creates some space for Reggie Begelton in the middle of the field. Nice throw on time. Throw the digs. You always want to throw digs in the middle of the field when people void the middle of the field. So now they're inside the 10-yard line. Let's see what happens here.
Benji Franklin alongside Royce Metier thought that they might have come up with the football at the end of that one, and a challenge flag is out from Ryan Dinwiddie and the Toronto Argonauts.
So that's really good, getting Reggie Begelton involved early. You know, he's only averaging They're only averaging 30 yards a game, so 2 big catches for him. That's excellent.
Toronto is challenging the ruling on the field. They believe the last play should have been ruled a fumble. The play will be reviewed.
So the command center will take a look at it, as will we here in Calgary. Referee Ben Major announcing it as Beggleton with that right hand down. And, oh, that might have been popped out. We'll get a look at the right knee when we return. Oh, there is the command center. They take a look at it. We'll get one more here is Reggie Beggleton. Did he fumble this ball? Right hand down. Ball was out. Was that right knee down? Here's our referee, Ben Major.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's first down for Toronto at the 11-yard line.
See Ryan Dinwiddie giving a shout out upstairs to his video staff for letting him know to challenge that one.
Yeah, and Royce Mechie does a really good job of going ahead, getting a punch, knocking the ball out. That's what you do when you get close to the line of scrimmage. You want to go, as you're going to make the tackle, you get a punch.
Quick ball out here. David Unger makes the grab, as that'll be just his second grab of the season. But Cam Dukes getting the start here today against the Calgary Stampeders. Thought Nick Arbuckle might get the shot after the way he played against Winnipeg, but Dukes still the starter.
Yeah, and Cameron Dukes early in the season did a really good job just keeping teams staying on the football field. 9, 10, 11 drives that led to scoring possessions. They haven't done a lot of big plays, but I really like how offensively they've protected them with short, controlled passes.
Gets the ball out of his hands quickly. Really low average depth of target, too, as now the running game factors in, and we get our first look at Kadeem Carey. Let's look at the Argonauts offense, Lapo.
Ryan Hunter, I'll tell you, this is an example of patience. For the patience of virtue, the Argos waited years to get this guy, and all-star performances every week. And obviously, we keep talking about Kadeem Carey. You know, the coaches talk about him on the field. He brings energy of an 11-year-old every week, and the hype and the energy. Now, Marshall, I have an 11-year-old. Sometimes she's just on the couch watching YouTube, so we got to make sure it's a hype. Bring the hype.
Carey is one of those high-energy 11-year-olds apparently at practice, but playing with a lot of passion in Toronto early on in his double blue career after signing in free agency, as he'll go up against this Calgary defense tonight.
Josiah Coatney, first-year player from Ole Miss. He's been a force on the inside. You know, lost a lot of weight so he can move better, but he dents the pocket. Cameron Judge, called by his coaches, the king of running to the football, Marshall, and he is the effort example for their football team. And a lot of people are going to be looking at this player today. Kenyon Reed, his first start, first-year player from San Jose. I think the Toronto coaches and the Calgary coaches are going to be watching how he's playing.
Dukes on 2nd and 9. Looks down the field, takes off, uses his legs, little fake backhand shovel that time, and down just across the 30. It'd be about 2 yards shy of the first down marker, but a good job by Dukes to create with his feet.
Little curl to the wide side of the field, just doesn't like the picture, and then he just says, okay, I'm going to make sure I protect myself. I'm going to go ahead and scramble, get what I can. I really like this little move he made, like you talked about, Marshall. He just didn't trust where this throw was going to be. So what does he do? Pulls the ball down, fakes it, tries to move Dozier out of the way to get the extra yardage. Big third down here. It's a little bit longer. This is almost a 2 right here.
They're just going to go hard count here and try and draw Calgary offside. Or will they actually snap it? 3rd and 2, their own end. And it looks like the flag comes out.
Violation, Toronto.
And the Calgary defense holds.
Yeah, this is what you would call. You know, these are called what I call a black ball, where you're gonna simulate a play. The way this works the best, and you saw Toronto do that. You start motioning.
Please reset.
If you just do a hard count, nothing's going to happen. But some players look at the motion, and when they see the motion happening, then they're going to jump and they're going to try to time their snap count with the motion. So good hold by the Calgary defense here.
Cam Eccles back to return as a flag comes up. Did they snap this before it was whistled in? They'll talk it over here as Haggerty stands back, ready to send another punt down the field. Actually got the longest career average with 200 career punts in CFL history right now, does Haggerty.
Procedure, Toronto, number 96. It's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I'll tag the rookie Tyson Hergott out of Waterloo. He gets called for the penalty.
You know, also John Haggerty's first in the CFL in punts inside the 10-yard line. You know, and talking to Mickey Donovan, he talks about this is an unselfish player. He wants to get great field position, so he's not going to get the net yards kicking out all the way back deep. He's going to put it inside the 10 when he can.
Spiraling boot right down the middle of the field. Eccles picks it up at his own 30-yard line, crosses to the 40. Big collision, but a return of 12 as Jake Mayer back on the field for the Calgary Stampeders after a 63-yard punt with the roll. They'll net 51 after the tackle, and Jake Mayer gets the football when we return. Well, it was a tough one for Jake Mayer, especially last week on the road against Ottawa, but really on the road throughout much of this season. It's been a bit of a different look than he's performed here at McMahon.
Yeah, the thing talking to him this week, he wanted to make sure he does a way better job of like getting through his reads. The first thing he said, he's like, with Flo coming back and this Argonaut defense, I'm getting through my reads and I'm going to throw the ball as quickly as I can.
Larna Rimolade in the lineup last year with the Argonauts, 36 tackles, 10 sacks. He'll dig in here as they snap it back to Mayer. Looks down the field, vertical shot, and up for grabs, incomplete. And lucky to get away from that one is Clark Barnes was being covered by Benji Franklin.
Just a little bit underthrown. I thought Barnes got behind the Benji Franklin, and just these are the things you want to do when you're throwing the ball deep. You like to put it out right out in front of him. It's okay sometimes to leave it a little short so the receiver can go up and get it, but a little bit too short, and almost a play there by Benji Franklin. Tries to high point it, just can't get the ball down.
Barnes has so much range at 6'1", 200, but long legs, long arms that you can see him actually slowing down and realizing, I don't think that's going to get here in time. So they'll play second down and 10, flip it out this time to Peyton Logan in space. And he puts his head down and runs into Deshaun Amos.
The hard part of this Toronto Argonauts defense, they can rush the passer with 4 people like you see right here. You got 4 rushers and then drop everybody else in zone. They give up a lot of completion yards. Completion percentage too. So that's okay. It's 2nd and 10. We're going to rally up, make a tackle, get you off the field. So Calgary's got to be productive on 1st and 10, Marsh.
Brian Dinwiddie loved that effort from Amos in the open field tackle. So now Cody Grace will send it away to Janarian Grant, leads the CFL, 3 return touchdowns. He catches this with his heels at his own 10-yard line. Burst through the middle. It'll be a gain of 10 on the return. And we sit currently with the Stamps and the Argonauts locked up. 1-point difference. The return of Kadeem Carey, one of the fan favorites around these parts for a long time in red and white. With more, let's go down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, you saw that shot of Kadeem and Dave Dickinson hugging each other before the game. There was very little interaction between Carey and his former teammates coming into this. Usually a player will have some text conversations and phone calls, but he didn't want that. This is serious business for him. All of that said, it's just not in Carey's nature to come back with a vengeful attitude. He doesn't want to get revenge on his former team. He wants to play the game in the most joyful possible way. And that's one of the things that always really stuck out to Dickinson when he coached him. He says, I don't know that I've ever been around a player that's as grateful to play football as Kadeem Carey, regardless of the situation, regardless of where it is. He just loves this game. So he says, you're going to see a lot from me in the game, a lot of talking, a lot of cheering, a lot of celebration, a lot of hype, but it's not going to be anger. I'm just happy to be back here.
Yeah, he has a great perspective on things. Thank you, Farhan, as there's a run just inside that right hash mark. And go for a gain of a couple. One of the interesting things, Lapo, about him is he said he's using yoga a lot to try and get himself kind of calm down and to get his body right and all the rest. He said this week he's actually used it more as almost a meditation to try and calm his nerves going into the game so he didn't burn himself out in this big return game.
Yeah, he talked a lot about that. Early in the week, I was hyped and I had to calm myself down because I know I'm going to need to be hyped, not today, in a couple of days from now when he gets out here to Calgary.
He sees the big picture as well as anyone in the CFL. Great conversation with Kadeem as Cam Duke steps up in the pocket, and they'll go down. A team that struggles to get quarterback sacks, just 8 so far throughout the season. They get one there. James Vaughters adds his 3rd to the campaign.
There's 2 ways you can pressure. You can pressure with extra people, or you can show people coming like you see right here. Like all these people, they're showing they're coming, but people are going to drop out, and that's what happens. They rush 5 people, which still puts you on a one-on-one situation. Vaughters, as Cameron Dukes, they're all trained this week to make sure when Cameron Dukes runs, you don't overplay your lane, you don't outrun the quarterback. So good move back inside by Vaughters right there.
Just 3 possessions last week for Dukes before he was pulled for Nick Arbuckle. We'll see how they handle the quarterbacks today in Toronto. Great catch from Cam Eccles on a rope from the right foot of Haggerty, a 54-yard punt. And they'll return it across the 55 as Eccles catches it at high velocity from Haggerty and makes his way, picking through the Argos coverage unit.
And watch him catch it above his head. That's normally not how you do as a punt returner, but really nice return. I know he's going to have to do a little bit of double duty with Peyton Logan playing. The coaches talked about him as one of the most consistent pass catchers on the team. And I heard him because I talked last week and they said he hasn't dropped a pass at all, Marshall. What did he do? Dropped 2 last week against Ottawa. It's my fault.
Yeah,
sorry.
The announcer's curse. Welcome to the booth, Lapo. That's how it works, man. As Jake Mayer shows run, he'll look to throw. Ceresno with pressure on, and it's up for grabs and incomplete. As Tavares McFadden almost had back-to-back weeks with an interception, Clark Barnes had to wrestle it away from him.
Yeah, this is a play-action pass. They're just trying to take a shot, clear 2 people out to the wide side of the field, and then bring a guy coming across underneath those 2 posts. And again, this is what they talked about. They want to take some good protection and shots downfield. McFadden's underneath it. Jake's got to see that so he prevents that throw being interception. But this is where this team has struggled. They're the second worst in the Canadian Football League of converting on 2nd and long.
Mayer with 5 receivers at his disposal. Looks left, comes back right, pressure, and he flips it to an offensive lineman. And that's not going to work. It's that Deontay Demery that makes the grab as flags are everywhere for good reason.
Yeah, welcome back to the roster this week, Demery. We're going to throw you a ball, which is going to incur a penalty right there because no one else has touched it first.
Usually when you tell that to an offensive lineman, hey, welcome back, we're going to dial one up for you this week. They get giddy.
They all want the ball, right? They all say, hey, coach, put me in. We'll do a little, I'll put the other jersey on, and you can throw me a ball.
We have a legal forward pass. Calgary, number 60. The penalty is declined. It's going to be 3rd down.
The natural hands of Deontay Demery on display.
What am I talking about Clark Barnes' hands for? Like, look at this guy.
Well, sometimes as a quarterback, you just see the color of your uniform, right? You think that's got to be a running back. Nope.
And maybe some of the defense guys, let's not tackle him. Let's not. Let's just let him run.
Not sure how many 6'5", 323-pound running backs that Jake Mayer has had in his career, but that is a large target, but not what he could throw to. So Janarian Grant will catch this just inside his own 20. A no yards flag looks like it comes out. That'll give the Argonauts a little bit of breathing room. After a 33-yard punt, a 16-14 win against Winnipeg last week with Nick Arbuckle, Cam Dukes back as the starter for the Double Blue. Welcome back to Calgary as outside the ticket office here at McMahon Stadium, Jasper residents had their tickets waiting for them. Huge shout out to the Calgary Stampeders and the Stamps Foundation. 1,200 tickets and $40,000 to Jasper Relief as they just try to give anybody who's been involved in the terrible wildfires a little bit of a distraction for a couple of hours. And we certainly hope that everyone who's in attendance today and anyone watching who knows and loves Jasper, Alberta, gets a chance to relax for a couple of hours here. Won't solve what's happened with the wildfire, but certainly a special opportunity for them, thanks to the Calgary Stampeders. As Polk makes the grab up to the 40-yard line, just shy of the first down marker, about 2 yards short.
You can see a little bit about what's going to happen here for Calgary. They have to find ways to stop the run. They know that's priority number 1. So, hey, they like the pressure on first down. They did it a couple weeks ago to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So there was a first and 10. They brought 7 rushers. What are they doing? Trying to stop the run. They need help. That's why extra players come to the line of scrimmage, opens up that quick pass.
So Duke sends Albert Awashe, the fullback, in motion, trying to kick out here is Kadeem Carey. Again, on 2nd and short, 2nd and medium, it's obvious that Carey is the one who's going to get most of the touches here today.
Yeah, when you're in 2nd and short here, you're going to protect both your edges. You can see Awashe coming through here, and you're going to see another receiver. And what they're trying to do is, well, they're always trying to make sure that they can cover all those edges so the ball hits up and inside.
It's one of the best matchups in this ball game. Toronto dominant on the ground per carry. Calgary struggling, giving up over 6 yards per rush attempt by their opposition. Dukes looks to throw here on 1st and 10. He's got all day. Now he steps up in the pocket and he'll be brought down. We'll see whether he got past the line of scrimmage originally, but It's like, was that Justin Sambu making his way into the backfield as the first-year player out of Baylor, 6th-round pick, 54th overall by the Toronto Argonauts, makes a play on the quarterback.
Well, you see here, it starts out with some players at the line of scrimmage, then they drop out. Turns into a 3-man rush. So you should have a lot of time on the 3-man rush, but eventually you have to get the ball out of your hands. You just don't want to put yourself in a 2nd and 11 on a 1st and 10. Either scramble or find some type of check down.
Cochrane Cobras alumni makes the play there on Dukes. It makes it 2nd and 11. Over the top, coverage is there, but can Coxie get it? Dropped it right in over the shoulder. DeMonte hauls it in.
Amazing play coming off the edge here. You're throwing it on the outside. He steps it up, climbs the pocket, throws a beautiful throw here. Good protection. Throws it outside, and what you're seeing here is Reed's trying to get over there. He's the high player. He's the zone player that's got to get to that spot, but the throw is so good on the outside shoulder. Amazing.
Goes for 48 yards. Now Dukes runs himself right into almost a sack. He had to jump to try and throw it over the top of James Votter's first incompletion for Dukes.
As you see this long pass, this is outstanding. You want to try to high point the ball. You got a tall receiver. You want to always put it on the outside shoulder. And Kenyon Reed just can't get there. Just a yard too late to get there. And, you know, first-year player, you got to understand how the width of the field. And their first start is like, man, I didn't know the field's this wide, Marshall. It's probably like...
A lot of ground to cover out there. They'll figure it out quickly. They all do. As Dukes, with pressure on, has to run away. Out to his right-hand side. Open receivers. He'll hold on to it and slides down. Give him about the 7-yard line, it looks like. And the 3rd down marker is out as Justin Sambu had just had the sack, checks back into the ballgame, and Dinwiddie already in the call sheet.
Yeah, you just got to make sure. Cameron Dukes is somebody he's got the ability to use his legs, so you just got to make sure your rush lanes do not give up an opportunity to release outside. But good job by the defense. When you're in zone, you can recognize a quarterback running. The zone zone defense came up, made the tackle to force this short yardage.
And the Argonauts, they haven't had very many reps down here as of late in their victory against Winnipeg. They didn't run an offensive play inside the Winnipeg 30-yard line. So Dinwiddie's been sitting on this call.
Inside the 30, crazy.
He's been sitting on this call for 2 weeks essentially at this point. That is now hard count, and who jumped?
Again, they're trying to run up to the line of scrimmage quickly, yell terms, say something, get some type of movement from Calgary. Especially with
offside, Calgary, number 73. We're going to go past the distance, but it's going to be 1st down for
Clarence
Toronto.
Hicks ends up giving them the 1st down without having to earn it.
Second guy from the top right there. And you got a bunch of guys in bunch. You got a bunch of people close. What is a bunch? It's those 3 receivers over there. They're telling you, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to get this 1st down. We're going to go for it on 3rd and short. You got to hold your water. Watch the ball be moved.
Kevin Mittal is in the ball game, the 1st year out of Laval, 5th overall pick. He swoops through the backfield, look that direction. Now Dukes pumps, steps up, going to try to use his legs, reaches for the end zone. Touchdown Argonauts.
This is what you've seen from Cameron Dukes. He's got the ability to just stay on the field, whether it's using his legs to get 8 to 9 yards, put them in a short yardage situation. Here, there's a free rusher. What does he do? He makes the free rusher. Cameron Judge misses him and then gets the opportunity to get this touchdown.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season here for Cameron Dukes is all the way wanted it. Kadeem was even saying, hey man, just give me a little shovel underneath, but safer, smarter, and he knew he could get it done himself. Cam Dukes, 8 plays, 78 yards in 4 minutes.
This is really good. This is good.
As the extra point is good.
No. What was the... No, I'm saying... Open. Look at the whole field. Relax.
Watch him where he comes from right here. He's going to come to that spot. And what they're doing, this is just an inside zone play where they're reading the linebacker, not the end. And when you're running a zone play, you block out on the end, you read the linebacker, but Cameron Dukes didn't have a great throw. So what's he do? When I don't have a great throw, I better make the guy miss. So sometimes you run zone plays where you read the end, sometimes you read the linebacker, and that's what happened on that play. But he didn't do a great job on the read, but it didn't matter because he made the guy miss.
Brian Scott on the bench there alongside Dukes as they talk over the drive as a whole, but certainly a better start and being able to get an offensive touchdown, something they didn't do last week either. 15 possessions against the Bombers. They won anyway, defied probability by doing that. Since 2019, 70 teams have been held without an offensive touchdown. Only 9 of those 70 went on to win. So Toronto doing it the tough way last week, and here tonight in Calgary, they get their first major on the board as Eccles, you called it, Lapo, trying to catch it overhand, bounces off his chest. Now he'll go collect it and crosses the 20-yard line.
Well, the beauty for Toronto, good defense. We've got one of the best returners in the last 5 years in the game, and making sure that what do they do? They do a good job of running the football. You do those 3 things, you're going to win a lot of football games, especially if you can protect the football. And for Calgary here, Calgary's got to make sure that they can put themselves in better second and short positions. This team is great at second and medium converting. They're great at second and short. They're, like I said before, they're just not very good when you're in a long yardage situation, and you just don't want to go against this front. You just don't want to spend time in passing situations against this group.
Jake Ceresna digs in against the waiting eyes of Jake Mayer. Mayer fakes the toss, backside, Clark Barnes incomplete, as that was an adventure from the get-go.
Priester with a pressure on the outside too. This could have been a really big play as the strong side linebacker blitzed off the perimeter, off the edge. That gives you a huge area for that screen pass. You don't have to block Priester once he's rushing the quarterback. They're going to want to have that one back, because I think they were going to be right all the way up to Royce Mechie.
The old fadeaway toss that time from Jake Mayer as he was backpedaling out of it to try and get away from the pressure coming off the edge by Priester. Last play of the quarter, barring penalty. As Mayer looks underneath, Reggie Begelton is open. Takes a helmet to the side, but stands up and makes another play. A strong first quarter for Reggie Begelton as he continues his catch streak. Long ways to go before he gets his receiver coach, Nick Lewis, but Reggie Begelton has been central to the aerial attack of the Stampeders here in week number 9. 3 quarters left to go. Argos lead 8-0 over Calgary. Well, Liram Hajrullahu got things going with a 100-yard rouge, and then it was a major run by Cam Dukes. But the rushing yards for the Calgary Stampeders of interest here, because they don't have Dedrick Mills in the lineup tonight due to personal reasons. Peyton Logan is in, and we wonder exactly what they're going to try to do to create some offensive opportunities. Maybe have to lean on Jake Mayer a little bit more than they have in their previous 3 victories here at home.
That's how it's looked so far. They've been throwing the ball. They've been doing a lot more throws early on. You're right. The difference in the game so far is Reggie Begelton, they're in scoring position. They get that unfortunate fumble, but Peyton Logan has to be somebody who's part of this process for them so they're not stuck in those second and long situations.
Tommy Stevens is in, the 3rd-string quarterback and short yardage specialist for Calgary. 6'5", 241. He'll look to take his 22nd carry of the season, as they do have an ever-expanding package of different runs for Tommy Stevens, but this one, bully ball, first down Calgary.
Really good push by the offensive line. There are 3 types of quarterback sneaks you do. Right over the A-gaps, off tackle sometimes, off by the tackle, and outside wedges. Here you're going to see an off tackle one. What does that mean? It's right behind the tackle. He goes right there. Great surge by the offensive line. You stay low, you follow your offensive lineman, and you sometimes do those off tackles. Why? Because the big guys are in the middle. You don't want to go to those big dudes.
17 of 17 the Stamps are now in 3rd and short on the season. Stevens a big part of that as they'll go with the ground game we just spoke of. And Logan leans his way forward for the gain of a couple, as Logan trying to figure out exactly how to contribute to this offense as the starting running back.
Yeah, and his ability, he's great in space. I know he's only 5'9", but he can make you miss in a phone booth. They just got to find some opportunities to get him, whether it's a swing screen, some things, not just running it up inside. But hey, they're second and medium here. One of the best teams in the Canadian Football League at converting this down in distance. Let's see what they have.
What will the Argonauts do defensively as they line up with a base 4-man rush? They'll send it. Mayer loads it up, rips it out. Cole Tucker makes the grab. Big tackle that time. Deshaun Amos is playing fast here tonight in Calgary, but it is a reception that gets them up near the first down marker. We'll see where they end up spotting it, but Dave Dickinson already down to the call sheet and sending in more reinforcements.
Jake Mayer talked about, like, I want to be better. What are you better at this year? He talked about, I want to be better at getting through my reads as fast as possible, getting my eyes right, and get my back foot aligned to my target so I can throw the ball. That ball came out real quickly into the soft area of the zone.
Stevens back in with the short yardage team, and on 3rd and inches, he can make it 18 of 18. Jake Mayer with another fresh set of downs.
84 carries, 619 rushing yards over his career, 25 catches, but really nice touchdown. I just love his ability. Every time I watched him, he could create and make some explosive plays as long as he had a little bit of space. And that's what's got to happen tonight for him. Try to create opportunities where they motion him out of the backfield, give him space opportunities.
We'll run Jalen Philpott crossface and give Philpott the carry. He turns north-south, crosses the 55, and is wrapped up just down inside the 50, and the old crossface running game with Jalen Philpott makes an appearance.
This is how you protect your core runs. What do? You bring a receiver across the formation. You have lead blockers, and this is a speed sweep. Watch, everybody's going. You're pinning, you're blocking down with one player, and you're trying to get around the edge. Sopic's here, dropping in coverage, running down. I love this kid. He runs, and makes tackles. Great special teams player, doing a great job as a linebacker this year.
3 receivers to the left of Mayer. He goes right. Cam Eccles, big collision. Metier was right there waiting for him as Benji Franklin in man-to-man coverage, and they read the eyes trying to go to that isolated matchup, Lapo.
Yeah, Benji Franklin makes a great play on this ball. And again, I believe this is once again their ability to, hey, we're going to call a run, but if we get a free player on the outside, if we get, what does that mean, a one-on-one matchup? Hey, you go ahead, quarterback, try to take that one-on-one matchup. But Benji Franklin, great play on the football.
Oh God, interception already this season as you see 2nd and 10. Crowd quiet here and slow developing at the line of scrimmage. Look like some confusion, so the Stampeders will call a timeout. And Dave Dickinson, Lapo, said he had a couple of things he was really focused on coming into tonight's game. He wanted to try and attack against the Argonauts.
Yeah, talking to him this week, 3 things. I want to make sure we get opportunities to take more shots downfield, was one. Number 2, how do we create takeaways defensively? We're second to last in CFL in takeaways. How do we get more takeaways? And the 3rd thing, protect the quarterback.
Yes.
And obviously that's something that they have to continue to do this game. But that's the hard part. How do you take shots downfield? And how do you, all right, if you put yourself in 2nd and long, right, well, you got to throw it again. So that's the chess match that goes on 1st and 10 when you try to take a shot. Because the shots on 2nd and long, they're just not going to be there as much as they are on 1st and 10.
Yep, absolutely. Defense sits back a little bit more, makes life difficult as they'll bounce Peyton Logan out. Empty 3-by-3 for Mayer. He rips it. Cole Tucker makes the grab at the 44-yard line. And they'll be shy of the first down marker. And Rene Paredes makes his way onto the field as the ageless one, 19 of 19 this year.
Again, this is what Toronto's going to do all game. Put you in 2nd and long, drop everybody out. They'll give that completion all day, force you in a tough situation where you can't get the conversion. But these are important yards that they just got here because it helps Rene Paredes on this kick. It helps them get these 3 points.
Current streak of 21 consecutive field goals made for Rene Paredes, and his career percentage is at 87.9%. That's number 3 all-time in the Canadian Football League. This one from 51 yards away. It's got plenty of leg, a drifting wind behind him, and Paredes cashes in as he crosses the 2,200 career point mark, and the Stamps fans love it. Thursday Night Football, presented by New York Fries, is going down next week between the Rough Riders and the Red Blacks. Tune in at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on TSN. As Drew Brown back in action with the Red Blacks, and the Riders trying to collect the pieces after a Trey Ford victory.
Amazing game last night.
Edmonton Sass
looked very good.
Game of the week so far?
Yes.
Yeah, feels like it was, no doubt. As Cam Dukes rips that one to the 49-yard line. hauled in by David Unger. Again, came in with just one catch here tonight. He's been up and down on the roster, the injured list, all the rest, but good to see him back in uniform.
Yeah, David, Pete Costanza talking to his receiver coach this week. He had the best quote I've listened to talking to all the coaches. He's like, I'm not sure which David shows up, David Unger or David Anger. Yeah. And when he's Angerer, I like how he plays when he's angry. So really good, talented football player.
Rips around on special teams, drafted by the Tiger Cats back in 2019, 11th overall. As now the short yardage package for the Argonauts. They'll keep Cam Dukes in. And he plunges his way forward for the first down.
You're always looking on these second down. Second and one. Hey, is there a free safety? Can I maybe take a shot? That's some of the things you always like to look for, because you should convert this 99% of the time. Why not take a shot on second and one if you see no free safety in the middle of the field? But 5 for 6, 75 yards, doing what they've been done with him all year long. High percentage passes, run the football, have run pass options for him, read the end, and do what he needs to do.
And the left side of that Argonauts offensive line jumping down the field before the ball came up.
And not where they love to
Procedure,
live, being at a
Toronto 59. The
first and
5-yard penalty.
extra.
Still first down.
So that's, now you got to go to more your pass game, what package you got. Here you want to get at least half of this back. You got to get it to at least 2nd and 10, Marshall. You don't want to be stuck in 2nd and 15, because the odds of converting this aren't very good. There aren't many plays on the playbook, 2nd and 15 or 20. Maybe the onside punt.
Yes, there you go. See if they can hack away at this down and distance as they reset the play clock for Cam Dukes. He holds on strong to the starting quarterback job in Toronto. Ben Major talks him through it. They'll whistle it in. And back to live action. Inside 9 minutes remaining in the first half. 8-3 advantage for Toronto as Dukes with pressure on and somehow stays on his feet long enough for whistles to come. Never really went down, but Mike Rose appears to be at the, well, I want to say the bottom of the pile. There was no pile. Mike Rose is just standing him up.
Yeah, watch the, you always talk about width and depth of the pocket. It looks like the depth of the pocket over here is what happens. And you get Hicks starts to get in there, and then they get around Rose in there, Coatney in there.
Feels
really
like
good pressure here.
One on film maybe where Julian Hauser and Hicks go, hey, you got credit for it, but.
Yeah, Mike Rose, a talented football player. God, he's been the leader of this defense all year. They talked about.
Third sack of the day for Calgary is now, you talk about that long down and distance. They go to Deontay McMahon on a little swing screen out towards the sideline. And McMahon gets one of his first touches of the ball game.
Yeah, you see here Cameron Judge. So now when you get into this down and distance, you're like, look at Cameron Judge. He's so deep. He's just dropping back. So you just say, hey, we know you're going to throw underneath, because you're not going to take a shot, because these shots are going to turn into interceptions. So again, sometimes I'm wondering why no other team in the Canadian Football League has done an onside punt. I don't know if this is the yardage, but no other team in the CFL besides Montreal.
And the old dribble kick. Alouettes pulling it off once again this year after a couple of successful attempts last year. The Argonauts will go full punt. Beautiful boot once again from Haggerty as Eccles hauls it in inside his 5. A 57-yard punt. And Haggerty continues his exceptional season on a gorgeous day here in South Alberta. Welcome back to Calgary as the Stampeders offensive line going through some injury woes, but despite the fact a rookie is in the game, it's not someone unfamiliar to Jake Mayer. Farhan Lalji has more.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake Mayer and Christian Nakano maybe in the starting lineup for the first time, but they've gotten to know each other over the years, and it goes back to Nakano's high school days. He spent his last couple of years after moving from Montreal to California, and he wound up at St. Paul's High School in Santa Fe Springs, which happens to be Jake Mayer's old high school. Jake had gone by that point, but nonetheless, he wound up getting coached by Jake's uncle Rick. He lived with Jake's uncle Mike, and he was taught in high school by Jake's mom, Lori. So eventually, when Jake wound up getting drafted, his mom, Lori, and the family was invited to Kirsty's draft party. And they, at that point, he wound up calling Jake right away. Laurie was right there. They wound up calling him, making sure they got to know each other really well. He's been giving him advice ever since. He called Pat Delmonico right away and said, look, I know this guy. He's a good kid. He's going to work hard for you. So even though this was a whole new experience for them playing together for the first time, feels like they've known each other forever. But Jake said, look, he never stayed in my room, so that was okay.
8th overall pick in the draft this year from Washington State, just dominated at the combine. We were there in Winnipeg earlier this spring, as now over the top, intercepted. Royce Metier intercepts the pass intended for Reggie Begelton down the left sideline, and Metier steps out of bounds inside the 10.
Metier is the backside safety, and that's what's hard for Jake Maier. He cannot see the backside safety. As you'll see him dropping back, he's going to be looking to his right, and he's going to end up throwing the ball a little bit too far across the field, and the backside safety is there. He doesn't have vision to him. I'm not sure if there was a receiver to hold him, but it's just sometimes when that ball drifts too far across the field to the backside safety, you got to go somewhere else with the ball. Metier, great play. Nice looking in the catch. Excellent play.
First pick of the year. It's the 6th of the season for Jake Maier. He's usually pretty good about protecting the football, but that one was a home run for number 9 in Della Blue. Can the Argonauts cash in? Cam Dukes looks to his right, back over the middle, slings this one into the end zone. Touchdown, Argonauts. And it's a former Calgary Stampeder, Richie Sindani, from the University of Calgary, drafted by the Stampeders, in the end zone of McMahon.
Nice throw here, right in the middle of the defense. He knows where to go right now. There's still zone coverage here, so you've got a lot of space. All you have to do, ball right in the middle of the field, both linebackers walk away. Great throw to Richie Sindani. You can tell he's recognized the zone, saw the linebackers bop out. All right, really good by Cameron Dukes, making that easy throw in the middle of the field. Why you don't love zone down there sometimes. It's tough on first down down there.
His first touchdown of the season after Metier got his first interception of the season. Things looking up for the Argonauts here on the road, a place that Calgary has been undefeated as the former 8th round pick, 70th overall, scores for the Argos.
That touchdown was set up by Royce Metier and his interception. You'll see him here starting to work to the boundary, and then he just watches Jake Maier's eyes. He's a half-field player right now, and then the post goes too far to the half-field player. It's got to stay a little bit more what I call skinny, closer to the near safety, and when it goes that far away, it's going to be interception. Great vision by him, great disguise on the interception versus a two-deep shell, covered shell.
Spoiled by talented Canadian free safeties.
Absolutely.
In the CFL, Marc-Antoine Dequoy, Stavros Katsantonis hopefully will be healthy soon, and Royce Metier all out there in the east getting it done. Is a big return here, right up through the middle. It's Ishmael Hyman in his Stamps debut, and they'll spot him up past the 40.
Hyman was somebody talking to Mark Killam, special teams coordinator at Stampeders. He said, yeah, we're going to kind of roll a couple of these guys in to make sure they can do some. Eccles will get some, and they're trying to make sure they didn't want to put Peyton Logan in a position where you had to do too much, Marshall. They could have used him in returns. They said, no, we're going to let him concentrate on his offense, what he needs to do.
Injured Argonaut down on the field as well as we close in on the 6-minute mark of this first half. Get a number right now, but you see the Stampeders and that defensive line going to work over on the sideline. Looks like Kerfala Exame, the former Montreal Carabin, is the injured Argonaut.
Exame's a really good special teams player. Done a really good job for special teams coordinator Mickey Donovan. Speaks so highly of him.
His 5th year in the CFL, first with the Argonauts, so good to see Kerfala up onto his feet and headed back towards the sideline.
Mickey Donovan talked about the special teams coordinator for the Argos, how much physical his unit's been. You know, he was upset the loss of Patrick Hansen last week, but he loves the physicality of his special teams unit.
Jake Maier breaks the huddle. Peyton Logan, the lone back. Maier to his right. They'll throw it out to Logan. At the 40, cuts back, gets to the 50, just beyond, out to the 51-yard line. And it'll be a gain of 8 on first down.
You see him working to his right, looking for what's downfield, but this is what he's going to see all night. This is fine. You're never going to go broke when you put money in the bank. Everybody lifts with the deep routes. You're going to throw the ball to a speed player in space and get 8 yards. Now put yourself in a manageable, very manageable second and short.
You can see number 30, the middle linebacker here today, John Jones, flying out, trying to add to his tackle tally as he steps in for Winton McManus, who is out with injury. A groin is bothering Winton, so not in the lineup tonight. Another former Stampeder, as we say so many times when these two play against each other. Tommy Stevens plunging his way forward, but Jones, crazy to think he only has 4 tackles, 4 special teams tackles so far this season, because he hasn't had much opportunity, but when he plays, he makes plays.
Yeah, he's got physicality, run to the football. Like, watching his progression, watching him last season, I thought he was just a spectacular football player, and they just had so many good linebackers in that unit. You get one more 3rd and 1. You go do 2 of these so you ensure you can get a 3rd and 1 situation.
This time Stevens goes to the left, got that one easily, as Jake Serezna trying to dig himself out from the bottom of the pile. And the CFL sack leaders, you think about Serezna and what he's been able to accomplish as a defensive tackle so far this season.
Yeah, 5 interceptions, the sack leader in Canadian Football League. Like, this is a player that gets, you know, what I love about him is he's got the ability to beat one-on-one. So sometimes lines slide away from him. He's on a one-on-one with a guard. He's going to beat the guard. And it's just, he's got power, he's got strength, and he's really got good speed as a pass rusher.
Flip it out this time. Clark Barnes catches it behind the line of scrimmage, and it's a game of 2-on-2 out there in the flats with Cole Tucker and Reggie Beggleton trying to block for Clark Barnes, but certainly designing lots of touches for Barnes in his return to the lineup.
Yeah, you give him opportunities, just like you're trying to make sure, like you see the end there trying to make the tackle. Hey, if we get an advantage, if we get a numbers advantage or a space advantage, what does that mean? The coverage is too high? Just throw it out to one of our good receivers. We'll block for him and try to get us in a second. This is a good drive. Another second and short situation for Calgary. It's
a grinding drive is what it is for
I'm waiting for the 2nd and 1 shot. You got 2nd and 1. Take a shot sooner or later.
Already crossed midfield. They'll still go for the first down yard as Stevens turns what should be a 1-yard gain into a 5-yard gain. And continues to truck along with the perfect mark on 3rd and short this season as we've hit the 3-minute warning. 15-3. Toronto up over Calgary here from McMahon, where the Stampeders are undefeated this season.
The Argos are putting on a defensive clinic. These boys are going to break it down. We're also going to have Week 9 highlights at the half. Make sure you stick around to check it out.
And that entire highlight pack of week number 9 will feature a quarterback wearing number 2 in green and gold. Congrats to Trey on the victory. Is jumping on the right side of that O-line. I'd jump too if I was Trevon Tate. Another former Argo against Folarin Arimilade.
Athletic pass protector.
Procedure, Calgary 64. It's a 5-yard penalty.
COVID loan program.
First down.
I was head coach of the Auto Red Blacks, Trevon Tate. We had to sign him away from the COVID roster.
That.
He started. We beat the Edmonton Elks. We said, thank you very much.
See ya.
Next day, went back to the Argos. Crazy.
Crazy. Like Tavares McFadden between Toronto and Ottawa.
Oh, my God.
Getting shuffled up and down the 401. McFadden with a pick 6 last week. See if that defense can get a turnover here to end the first half. Jake Mayer looks to his right. Out of his hands, Cam Eccles working in the return game, and now hauling in a catch from Mayer.
Nice decision. Nice quickness to the wide side of the field. This is what you want to do. Put yourself in a good situation here. As everybody lifts, take Eccles underneath, locate it, give him a quick throw.
Go back to the ground game. Peyton Logan going nowhere. Right in the middle of that defense. Looks like that was Hawley with Priester and Robbie Smith as well.
Yeah, trying to go tempo, trying to get a quick play, trying to get this first down, trying to create some rhythm. But sometimes when you wind this zone play back, you're going to run into unblocked players. You're going to see this ball wind it back too much. As the receiver tries to make the block, the receiver doesn't. And we also get big Ralph Hawley getting involved too with that.
Rene Paredes out once again. And this one comes from 43 yards away. Paredes knocks it through, smooth as ever. Kadeem Carey back in his old stomping grounds and taking a bit of a different approach with the double blue now playing against Calgary.
No text, no hi, no, you know, they're opponents now. So, and that's kind of how I'm treating it. You know, I'm in a hotel now, you know, I'm in the away room. So, you know, they ain't helping me out. They ain't giving me a pillow to lay on. So I can't wait to go out there and, you know, show them that I'm on the other side now.
Yeah, he's certainly trying to piece it together in this game. By the way, the necklace that he's been wearing, his daughter Kiki made it for him. Apparently the kids are fighting over which necklace gets worn in game for dad, as Kadeem Carey enjoying his time in Toronto. He said, I love the energy, enthusiasm around the locker room. He said the weather sucked all year. It's been raining in Toronto most of the season. But.
Yeah, Ryan Dimwitty said, yeah, it's been raining all season for them. That's great, though. The jewelry from the family,
yep.
Right? Hey, how about your son Noah makes you a hat? You wear it on every time. How will we do that? Something like that. Make your own tie or something.
Yeah, there we go. The tie. We could do the tie. Well, maybe
we're not in there much.
A pocket square, right? Something like that. We'll see. But awesome for the Carey family to be involved in Dad's workday here in Calgary. Something they've seen so many times is Carey on second and a couple right next to that first down marker. Hard running.
There's something called being a shoulders down, downhill runner. You know on second and short, and Calgary knew on second and short that they were going to be in pistol, which is the tailback behind the center, and they're going to square his shoulders and run. They had players there to make the play. He drives them forward for the first down. Great run.
Brandon Dozier flying in off the edge that time. In his 7th year out of UNC Charlotte, trying to make the play, and now it will be Cam Dukes cutting back against the grain, somehow escaped, and finally Dozier's the one that brings him down at the 45.
They're trying to have answers for when the quarterback breaks contain. And then what happens is you're going to see basically as they come this way, they're doing a zone read. As they come down, Hauser tries to react. So he's going to be a fast reaction, but you got to make the play. And that's a problem at times. This defense has not made the play 2 plays ago. This play, they give Cameron Dukes the opportunity to run.
Dukes looks to his left and throws this one high and away from coverage. Trying to fade it over the top away from Kenyon Reed, and successfully gets another completion to David Ungerer.
Wide side of the field. This is a long throw, but this is a throw you can usually see that area of the field. In zone defense, somebody's going to be open all the time. You just got to make sure you can find it. David Ungerer, nice catch. High points the ball, goes up, catches the highest point. Cameron Dukes seeing the field pretty well right now. And what they're doing, good job, Marshall, of the bubble screen that gets 8 yards, all these things. And this game has changed in the Canadian Football League. There's so many higher completion percentages, and that's why defenses, they have to sprint. Talk about sprinting to the football, because the ball's completed behind the line of scrimmage and you're chasing it all the way across the field. So if you don't sprint to the football, there's too much width on this field, and the completion percentage is so much higher than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Absolutely. Cage is the injured offensive lineman down on the play, as Cam Dukes is now 9 of 10. And so the left tackle in his 6th year in the CFL, Cage will head towards the sideline. Got Landon Rice. Looks like it's going to step in relief duty here at the left tackle position, or will they spin him around, mix and match the offensive line? You always say, Lap, I don't know what your perspective is on this. If you're making a change, you just want to make one change. You're trying not to make 3 or 4 just to make it work.
The first thing you think about is looking at their roster makeup. They have 7 offensive linemen on, which is a very good thing. If you had 6, 1 more injury, and the defensive lineman's finishing the game.
Albert Awache, the fullback, slides down the line at the bottom of your screen, and a flag comes up. Did they not get this off coming out of the injury?
Yeah, looks like going to be a time count.
Time count violation, Toronto, number 11. The 10-yard penalty will still play first down.
This is a huge penalty, because this is going to put them, you know, they're into the win, Toronto is, so this puts them in a position where, you know, they got a long way to go to kick a field goal.
Reset the game clock to 1:26. Thank you.
This area of the field is what I would call the kick zone, where, you know, I'm in a position to, that last down and distance, I'm in a position to kick a field goal. We can't do anything to go backwards. No empty passes, no crazy plays. Make sure we get positive yards to help our kicker. This is not helping our kicker.
Dukes in the gun. Quarterback draw, picks his way through the line, and then takes a big shot, sliding down just outside the 35-yard line, and Micah Tice was the one that got him. A flag does come out.
You know, what you're talking about is it a late slide? That's what you're trying to recognize. The league has always talked about, you know, we went to flagging guys all the time, even when they slid late. I don't think this is going to be for a late. This is going to be for a blow to the head.
42. It's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down for Toronto.
He's sliding late. I think it's going to be for a blow to the head here, helmet to helmet.
You can see Dukes gliding until he dropped down that right knee. And a forearm to the head got him as well, but he completes this pass. Devontae Coxie thought he could have broke that tackle of Demario Houston and headed towards the end zone.
I know sometimes the fans don't like it, but you just can't strike a blow to the head.
Yeah.
Like it's just outlawed out of the all football. No huddle here, little tempo.
Micah Tice stares down Cam Dukes. Dukes, after that quarterback called run, now will take off on his own. Already has one rushing touchdown. Looking for a bit of a push from his offensive line, who were late to arrive, but another solid pickup on second down using his feet for Dukes.
Trying to make a decision on where he's going to throw the football. Sees nothing in the middle. Cam Judge gets depth in the zone. Right now, all he does, look at all this space. He takes his space. Anytime I don't have a clean picture of it, I'm going to use my legs and get extra yardage. Now you're first and goal from the 3. You're going to put your big people in. You're going to run. You're going to just run tight zone, get it right up inside for the touchdown.
Big moment here for the Argonauts as Kadeem Carey scores a touchdown in his return to Calgary.
That drive is Cameron Dukes. His ability to use his legs. Couple of scrambles, right? They're backed up in a long yardage situation. What do they get? They get a quarterback draw to get them even better yard range. And then the penalty is obviously what hurt them, hurt Calgary. But I love what Cameron Dukes is using with his legs, making some throws, but also protecting the ball and running when he can.
Carey with a little shrug for his ex-friends and fans. Here in Calgary, extra point is good. Head-to-head since 2014, Calgary's 15-2 against Toronto, including 8-1 at home. But the Argonauts sitting pretty right now, up 16. It's Cam Dukes. And the Argonauts punch another in on the ground, and Dukes loves it on the sideline.
Mike Miller is quarterback coach. Right here, you're going to get good double teams as they work, and then Vaughters is the one who's got to make the play. But sometimes you just can't because Kadeem Carey's going to run you over. Really good push by the line. And again, with at the 3-yard line, that's what you're going to do. Just plow forward, get what you need, get your touchdown.
And Kiki will be happy that maybe the touchdown scoring necklace back in Calgary was one that she made for him. As now we see Cody going for a run.
How many offensive linemen are going to carry the ball tonight? What is going on?
9 plays, 70 yards in 90 seconds as the Argonauts extend their lead. 41 seconds left, 16-point disadvantage now for the Stampeders. And what do you think is the mentality here with pretty decent field position, I got to say, after the Coatney defensive line return?
Yeah, watch this return right here. I love it. Look at the high hand. Look, you talk about high hand. You make sure you have your wrist above the elbow, right? We talk about making sure you have the ball high. That's great leverage. That is a clinic leverage on how to hold the football.
Free safety Tyshawn Blackburn was the one who had to volunteer to put a helmet in on the big defensive lineman as Peyton Logan drops this pass. Tavares McFadden right there in coverage.
Wide side of the field throw, trying to get that out flank. As they just don't get the out flank, and then Peyton Logan's a little bit thrown behind him. He's got to make that catch, put them in a manageable position.
2nd and 10 here for Jake Maier, and the Calgary offense is trying to answer for that 33-6 loss at Ottawa. Game before that right here at BC, 25-24. They beat the Lions. A lot of work to do if they want to continue their undefeated streak at home. Maier throws into a window, and Clark Barnes just couldn't get out of the turf quick enough.
On a deep curl route, just a little bit off on his throw to Clark Barnes. Thought he had an opportunity for it. Protection's good enough for the throw. Just missed it on a little bit on the outside.
And no touchdowns last week or so far today, so 6 quarters now for Jake Maier without having a major. If he doesn't throw one in the remainder of this first half, is Jermaine Franklin, Enoch Mwamba, and Matt Dunnigan coming up for you at halftime. All the highlights from around week 9 in the Canadian Football League. Janarian Grant driven all the way back into his end zone. Tries to get the football out, and that's going to be very close. We'll see where they spot. They say first down, but now after a 65-yard punt from Cody Grace, the Argonauts are going to have to scrimmage from inside their 1-yard line.
Yeah, so this is situational football here. You're at the 1-yard line. You're going to have to do a couple of things. I'd be careful of going. You should go on a hard count right here. And if you go on a hard count, you're trying to get Calgary off. It's no penalty if you go off. If you go off sides, it goes back to the 1. So there is no penalty, but you need room to run the you need to run a quarterback sneak here, because you do not want to take a safety. So they've got to get enough yardage so they can run the victory offense running play. So expect them to try to do that, or just go forward right now and get it and run it out.
Yeah, just trying to create a little bit of breathing room, but again, smashed up against those uprights as well, as Ryan Dinwiddie just managing the end of a first half. It has to be said, very successful for the Argonauts, considering all things that they've been dealing with at quarterback and trying to make sure they can have Cam Dukes or Nick Arbuckle consistently lead them, but the running game has been the story so far here today with both Dukes and Kadeem Carey.
Yeah, and I think the decision would have been for Nick Arbuckle is if Cameron Dukes is not moving the ball in any way, shape, or form, or if he's made bad decisions with the football. I haven't seen either one of those, so keep giving Cameron Dukes the young guy reps.
We have hit zeros here in the first half of play. 22-6. Toronto leading on the road, and a great half for Cameron Dukes, and being able to use his athleticism and quick decision making on the road to frustrate the Stamps defense.
Legs moving around, right? But great decisions. When I can't see it, I'm just going to trust my defense, trust others, making Cameron Judge miss here. And just having, this looks like the guy who played in the first couple weeks of the season. Easy pass here to Sindani, exploiting the zones. He's thrown the ball well versus zone on first downs. So this is a guy that, hey, the defense is like, hey, do your job. We'll take care of business. We'll keep Calgary off. And the turnovers, obviously the turnovers are huge for the Toronto Argonauts, getting those turnovers.
Cam Dukes, 10 of 11 for 111 yards in the first half. He's with Farhan.
Let me ask you about those last couple of drives that ended in touchdowns and just being able to finish those. What does that mean to your offense?
It's a great confidence boost for us. You know, we're starting early, starting fast, and you know we just got to finish now.
For you personally, 10 of 11, 111 yards in that half, but it was also the timeliness with your legs. And I know sometimes they've said that maybe you've tried to take off early. It didn't seem like you did that. You stood in, you looked. Do you feel more comfortable with when to run now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you know, it comes with reps. It comes with game reps, live action and stuff. And so, you know, just seeing it, whenever the green grass is there, I'm going to take it. Yep.
Thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much, sir.
Guys, Toronto has a 14-point lead right now. Ryan Dinwiddie hasn't won as the road coach here. And you know what else? They're chanting for Jermaine Franklin here in Calgary. Germs?
Thanks, Farhan. I thought I heard the echoes, right? I thought I heard the echoes, and now he confirmed it. Now he confirmed it. But Gentlemen, the Argos certainly put on a clinic, both offensively and defensively. Forced a couple of turnovers. That's exactly where we're going to start, Enoch. Why were the Argos so effective on the defensive end?
Well, they're busy. They're active on defense. That secondary in particular. The front is putting a little bit of pressure, but it's a secondary. Royce Mechie started everything off for that defense, and he has been looking a lot more confident in that secondary. You see here as he comes back and just he's thinking, am I using my left hand, my right hand to punch this? That's how you can tell the game is slowing down for him. He said, no, let me use my left hand, gets the ball right out and forces a turnover, which was key because they would have been in field goal range. And here again, Benji, this play right here, Benji Franklin gets in there and gets an interception. Should have been an interception, but and then you see here, Amos right here, he's been very active and extremely physical. It was a table banger, Matt.
Yeah.
And again, you see Royce Mechie coming in for another turnover, an interception this time, and giving the ball back to his quarterback, Cam Dukes. Matt, that's got to help as a quarterback, right, when you get the ball back like that?
Absolutely. And after last week's win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, after being pulled for Nick Arbuckle in that win, and I emphasize win because they actually beat Winnipeg. And you ask those two quarterbacks how difficult it is to play against the Bombers defense. It's tough. Just ask VA last week when they put up a goose egg. And here, Cam Dukes seems like he's settled in. That's a dime down the field there to Coxie. That is just a beautiful throw. Can't defend that. That's just a great pitch and catch right there in his legs. Talked about it. We heard him talking to Farhan, and we heard Lapo talking about it in the booth. He's seeing it and feeling it. And, you know, if he wasn't, they wouldn't have much of a running game. Both these two sides aren't giving the ball to the running backs very much, but that's a beautiful look at a touchdown pass to Sindani. And then here again, he sees it. And when you're a young quarterback, things are clear. Don't force it. Don't hang on to it. Don't be Johnny Velcro with the ball stuck in your hand. Pull it down and make something happen with your legs. And we saw that in the first half. Worked really well for him.
So what do the Stamps got to do to get back in this game? And, of course, they're undefeated at home. They look like they're the road team right now, but how does that start?
Matt, you talked about it already.
Yep.
The running game hasn't been effective at all. It hasn't been present. As a matter of fact, Peyton Logan's got 2 carries for 6 yards. He needs to touch the ball a little bit more to get a little bit of the attention away from the secondary of the Toronto Argonauts, and that's going to help a little bit. But Jake Merritt, ultimately, he's got to do a better job.
It's going to help Jake. It's going to help Jake, Enoch, if they do get Peyton Logan going. But Toronto's feeling it defensively. Tip of the cat, they're getting paid too.
Yep.
And but Peyton Logan, I think, certainly needs to be part of this next 30 minutes for them to claw back in this football game, take some pressure off of Jake, settle him down, because he's not seeing the field at all right now. And typically, if Jake can see the field and relax a little bit, he can sling it with the best of them.
It certainly doesn't help when he's watching Cameron Dukes do what he does when he's on the field. He has been simply outstanding. He doesn't want to share with Nick Arbuckle, clearly.
No.
He does not want to share with Nick
last
Arbuckle.
week.
He wants to keep it to himself.
But when we come back, we're going to have highlights from Week 9.
Best believe it's true, we come for you. I can see that you don't know what you've got yourself into. You've been creeping so deceiving. Better watch how you move. My own team is undefeated. We don't know how to lose. They call us animals. Best believe it's true, we come for you.
All right, Lions Bombers from Week 9 to open it up. Late in the second, Bombers on the road. Zach Collaros finds his newest receiver, Lucky Whitehead, who dives in for the score. Whitehead, who played with Winnipeg in 2019 before spending the last 3 seasons with BC, gets his first CFL touchdown since September of last year. Must feel good. Now in the fourth, Lions down 22-0, and things go from bad to worse. Vernon Adams Jr. gets sacked and is slow to get up. Adams needed to be helped off the field and did not return. It was diagnosed as a right knee injury, though not long-term. Bombers get the shutout. Whew. Alouettes, Ticats, Friday Night Football, second quarter. Al's trailing. Davis Alexander finds Charleston Rambo in the end zone. Alexander, in his first CFL start, finished 19 of 27, 262 yards with a TD and a pick. Not bad, but in the fourth, after Alexander had to exit due to being hit in the head, Caleb Evans comes in and throws a dime. That was a beautiful pass.
It was.
David Dallaire the recipient, his first CFL touchdown. Alouettes remain undefeated on the road and improve to 7-1. Asks Rough Riders. Early first, Riders up 2 until Trey Ford finds former Rider Tevin Jones on the deep route, and he'll eventually take it all the way to the house. One of Ford's 2 touchdown passes in his first start of the season, finishing 18 of 22 with 252 passing yards. Riders would retake the lead, but Javon Lee cuts left and finds daylight for a 61-yard touchdown. Leak with a career high 169 yards on the ground, and that is a very big win for the Elks. Now, gentlemen, here's the question. What is more of a surprise, the Elks beating the Riders or the Lions getting shut out by the Bombers?
A really good question. Really good question. I think you can kind of see Edmonton getting wind in their sails towards the end of the 2 weeks ago in the fourth quarter when we saw Trey Ford step on the football field and ignited that football team. So I can believe that one before I can believe a shutout against BC at home. I can see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense playing well because they've been playing well enough to win for a long time, but they're rounding out the form. So Enoch, that shutout at home over BC was crazy.
100%. Shout out to Trey Ford for coming out and putting on such a great performance. But you're talking about a shutout in the CFL, a league that has such a big field full of space and opportunities, and they couldn't find 1 point. That was a great defensive performance right there by Big Hill, Willie Jefferson, and that defense in Winnipeg.
Yeah, incredible.
Jordan Younger's got him rolling.
So it's 22-6 in favor of the Argos. Second half coming up with Marshall and Lapo. Stick around. We'll see you then.
Welcome back to Calgary. 16-point advantage for the Argonauts. Lapo, what jumps out to you?
Obviously the turnovers. You had the fumble in field goal range. You had a backed up interception which led to an easy Toronto score. And in their 3 home wins, they had a winning turnover margin, I believe, to +3. They just can't turn the ball over. And the last thing is the rushing yards. 42 yards. Peyton Logan has 10 yards rushing.
Let's go down to Farhan Lalji, who's standing alongside Reggie Beggleton.
Reggie, let's start with the turnovers. 2 in that half. 1 took away points. 1 gave them points. How important is it to eliminate those?
I mean, that's the name of the game. The game is the ball. We gave the ball away. We got similar yards, and that's what dictates the score right now, is that, they was able to capitalize on those opportunities.
Overall, about 150 yards of offense, and it didn't necessarily look like you guys were able to get in sync. How can you find some more energy offensively?
It's a game of momentum. Energy is momentum. Momentum is energy, and that you just got to get it back and do the little things. It will slowly roll around to our favor. This is going to be a good second half watch.
Thanks for this.
No problem.
Confidence from Reggie Beggleton right there. He believes they can turn it around, and the Calgary Stampeders fans in attendance that have, I'm going to say, been spoiled, but to have a 3-0 mark at this point in the season at home, they certainly have had a lot of success here. They'd like to see Reggie's words come to fruition, as there is a wind in the face of Rene Paredes, and actually that wind will knock the ball right off the tee to get things going here in the second half.
Reggie's got 3 catches, 56 yards.
Yeah.
A good start for him early in the game. They just got to get some consistency. Like I said, I think the run game's got to happen for Calgary to make sure they're in a better down and distance situation. So we'll see what their adjustments are in the second half.
And it fell off the tee, or just as Rene was running towards it. Don't see that very often, but he had to hit the eject button on that one and make sure that he didn't make contact.
Yeah, where's Lucy, huh? Producer John Hines with a great one right there. Where's Lucy? This is how you pull a hamstring. I am sure he knew. All right, time to slow it down.
Now you got to make your cover team run again. They had the wheels churning, all fired up to begin the second half. Toronto won the coin toss. They deferred. Calgary got the ball in the first half. So Toronto starts with the football here in the second, as it's 25 degrees right now. Feels like 28. And that wind gusting up to about 42 kilometers an hour, as you can see it hang in the air and drop down to Janarian Grant looking for the outside. And man, I wonder how much film they watch Mark Killam's special teams units on trying to stop Janarian Grant from getting the edge just like that.
Mark Killam said this week that he believes in his 15 years in the Canadian Football League that Janarian Grant's the best returner he has faced. He just loves his ability. He says he makes the first guy miss every time, and then after the fact, like, he's just hard to get a hit on. He can spin, move, do different things. Now, I talked to him. He has told me the cornrow was attached and reattached. I don't know how. Not sure how that happened. Maybe there's help for me one day, Marshall. We'll see.
You are our local expert in follicle preservation. So, as Kevin Bittal makes the grab to begin the second half here, the rookie out of Laval, Trey Roberson. Haven't said his name much here today, but he makes the play.
You know, some physicality from Trey Roberson this year, watching him on film. And, you know, when you sometimes put that guy who's a great boundary corner, you start playing him to the wide side of the field, and he ends up playing more wide side corner. Like, it's good for the veteran corners because they have more time to see. Why do you want to have veterans there? Because they can see the routes developing. They can make plays on the football. That's why you like a veteran player over there who can see the things and make plays for interceptions.
Cam Dukes, very efficient first half for the double blue. Skips away from pressure this time. Flag comes out down the field as Dukes goes for a run and will step out of bounds, escorted by Julian Hauser.
Here's the first change for the Calgary Stampeders defense. So now playing man coverage. They're playing man coverage. They're having safeties.
Contact on the receiver. Calgary, number 43. So the penalties decline because the gain is greater. It's first down for Toronto.
So when you play man coverage with two deep safeties, you tend to tell your defensive backs, hey, get right up. You can be physical because if the ball goes over your head, you have two safeties to help. You just cannot get too physical. And Vaughters with an inside move gives Cameron Dukes the outside to be able to run and continue to use his legs. But you just got to be careful when you're going to play that press up man to man. You just can't get your hands and hold.
As Dukes talking to Deonta McMahon in the huddle there, as they'll give Kadeem Carey a blow. Dukes using the legs here tonight. See if he does again. No, DeMonte Coxey takes the grab. Quick completion underneath. What do you make of Cameron Dukes and that average depth of target? Just 6.9 yards down the field so far this season.
You know, I talked to Ryan about that. How do you get more explosive plays? You got the least explosive plays in the CFL, only 6. And he says, yes, we've got one for Coxey. We've got a couple built for some of the other guys, DeVaris Daniels. But, like, the big thing for us is if it's open, take it. If not, go ahead and check it down. And that's what Cameron Dukes done an outstanding job.
And he told us this week they want to add some play action to open up those downfield shots. But on this one, it'll just be a straight drop. Corner route intended for Pope. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Kobe Williams, who's a one tackle shy of 100 in his career.
This is the route of the Canadian Football League. Everyone's running. They're benching a guy to the side. Now, what's a bench mean? You run up and you turn left and go out to 15 yards to the sideline. When the halfback is playing high, Williams is trying to play higher for deeper routes. You can throw that underneath, just a little bit outside.
Haggerty sends this one away from his own 44-yard line. And he goes for the backward looping kick to drop down inside the 5. Perfectly placed, a 47-yard punt, and Cam Eccles gets thrown out of bounds. Robbie Smith, about starting defensive lineman on the field on special teams. Reggie Begelton, one of the true mainstays of this Stampeders offensive attack. Farhan Lalji has more on him when we return to McMahon. Solid first half from Reggie Begelton here in the Stampeders receiving group, but he's got lots of interest in the Calgary area. For more, Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Marshall, everybody needs a hobby, and among the top of the list for Reggie Begelton is fishing. Now, in the offseason, he lives in Galveston, Texas, which is right on the Gulf of Mexico. And this guy doesn't just kind of salmon fish and recreational fish. He goes after the big ones because they get out there right close to the ocean line, and he has caught some large ones, some fish that are almost as big as he has. He's got some sharks, some sand sharks, some black-tip sharks, some that literally fly over the boats, and he just calls it active meditation, where he needs to completely get away, not think about real-world problems. He goes out there. So I asked him, what's harder to catch, one of Jake Mayer's passes or one of these fish? And he says, well, it's harder to catch the fish because I use fake bait. So he's got to work on that in the offseason, get some real live bait to make fishing easier.
Well, that was an easy catch by Reggie into the hands of Begelton as he breaks 2 tackles, now a third, and he's out to the 25-yard line.
what we talk about. Get the ball out of the perimeter. Get out your hands quickly. Get your 2 receivers to block. He steps back. It's called the step back screen. Get inside the kick-out block, then get north-south. Good power, good lower body strength by Reggie. Nice first down on first down. That's what Calgary has to do, keep developing first downs.
And throws the reel out. Yank it back.
Yes.
The catch of the day here in McMahon. Begelton. So solid for the Stampeders. The running game picking up steam now as well. Begelton promised us it'd be a better second half than it was a first, and on this drive, early signs suggest yes.
You talked about at the half. Can we get Peyton Logan going? Some of the other runs, those the quarterback runs don't really matter, right? You got to get some downhill runs. What are they going to look like? Give him an opportunity, right? They're pulling 2 people. This is what you call a counter play or a gap play, where 2 people block down and you pull people around to create a hole for Peyton Logan.
More yards on that carry, I should say, than he had in the entire first half, as Reggie Begelton catches another behind the line of scrimmage, makes 2 men miss. And Dave Dickinson leaning on number 84 right now.
Well, here's what's interesting. Like, producer John Hines asked whether Reggie went fishing with Coach Huffnagel, and he said, no, that hasn't happened yet, this or that. But I've got it. Are you ready, Marshall? Producer John Hines, I want you to get the graphic ready already. Streaming services, coming to streaming services here, or TSN Plus. Downstream with Coach Huff and Reggie Begelton. How about that? That could be awesome. Or it could be awful. Huff could just sit there and not even pay attention to the camera, or Reggie and just fish by himself. Either way, I'm watching.
Organic television. I'm in. Just put Huff in a boat, see what happens as Peyton Logan goes backwards. Great play reading the screen from Robbie Smith.
Boot to the wide side of the field. What you trying to do? Trying to get flow to the right. Show the action, show going back, and then you slide the back out on a screen. No issues except for you got to get Robbie Smith out of the way. Great play by Robbie Smith. Now it puts you in second and extra. Very hard play here. That was what I call a whiskey bottle play, where the whiskey bottles come down when it doesn't work.
Hard count here. Looks like they got the Argonauts to jump, so Mayer has some time to play. How vertical does he want to go? Extends the play again, now slides down. And Falarno Rimolade in his return to the lineup. Slides down on the back of Mayer and helps him back up. Looks like Woody Barron jumped offside.
Woody Barron, nice addition. 6-year veteran, signed a couple weeks ago to get some reps. Right, as a designated American, rotates part of that rotation.
Offside, Toronto 93. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
I love what the Argos do. Like, if you're on the sideline with the Argos, you watch your defensive line, they come off like every play. They're rotating guys, trying to keep them fresh so they can get that pass rush going.
Right now it'll be Jake Serezna. Parrish is in there, Woody Barron, and Robbie Smith as the 4-man front. Royce Meche already had an interception, roaming in the middle of the field at free safety. Mayer looks to his left, goes back across his body, caught on the run, and Peyton Logan would have been running for a while if Fraser Sopik didn't chop him down.
This was, like you said, this was going to be a huge play. Everybody cleared out, and now you've got one underneath. You got the tailback underneath. He has to throw a check down, doesn't trust what he sees downfield. He was going to throw to the left-hand side, didn't like it. Now he's trying to find a check down. Sopik with a huge stop, or else that was going for big yardage.
It's Fraser Sopik in his 5th year in the Canadian Football League. And a Western drafted by Calgary, playing for the Argonauts now, free agency. As Janarian Grant picks it up with no yards, the call on the play. As Kadeem Carey retakes the field after scoring a first half touchdown in his old stomping grounds. Well, Heritage Night here in Calgary. A pregame citizenship ceremony was held as nearly 100 new Canadians sworn in as citizens during an on-field event. Tremendous reception as well by everyone. And the thing that jumped out to all of us, the CFL and TSN family, got happy they are to be holding the flag during the anthem. Had a time down there.
Oh, it was great. I was down there on the field early, and there's so many parents there, and like all families taking pictures. Just an incredible day for all
Great performance at halftime as well. Multicultural appreciation from the Stampeders on Heritage Night. As Cam Dukes with pressure on. Not sure if they're going to give it to Julian Hauser or Cam Judge, but regardless, a big loss on first down for the Argos, and Dukes just kind of shrugging, saying, where was my protection?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens here. Now, if you look top of the line, I'm not sure how this plays out. We'll take a look. But great catch on this snap. Inside, he beats him with a speed inside move. I'm not sure whether where they thought they'd have help inside. Yeah, you can see him talking to McKellar right now to, hey, where were you? Like whether they thought they had a slide to help him. What that means is a guard would have gone to help him or not, but miscommunication creates this 2nd and 19 situation.
Second sack of the year for Julian Hauser. Cam Duke steps up. He's got a spy on him. Cam Judge makes a miss in the hole, and now going for a run to the outside. Oh, he almost broke it. And in a real tough down and distance that you mentioned, Lapo, Cam Dukes very nearly did the impossible with a first down run by escaping Cam Judge.
So now you can see what the change in game plan is in Calgary in the second half. They are going to say, we're going to start still playing coverage, rush 3, but this is the spy. I'm going to spy Cameron Dukes. This is what they did 2 weeks ago against the BC Lions on film. They just got to make the play. You don't have to kill him. Just be in front of him and bring him down. That's the 3rd time Cameron Dukes has made a Calgary defender miss.
Another hammering punt, this time from Haggerty. A 66-yard punt. Ishmael Heyman does everything that he can to return it, but with the breeze at his back here in Calgary, it is another monster boot from John Haggerty. 22-6 Argos over the Stamps. The Calgary Stampeders would dearly love to have a touchdown drive right here, but big Jake Serezna in the middle try to put an end to that as quickly as he can.
Calgary last 2 series, good productivity on 1st and 10, be able to get some first downs on first downs. See what their plan of attack is here.
Go with the running game to start things out. Right in the middle of the pile. At the bottom there it is. Ralph Hawley, number 99, making the play.
You're moving in on the inside. They're still pressuring. You're going to see pressure off the outside edge here. And as they keep bringing pressure off the outside edge, that just makes it harder to run the ball up and inside. But Hawley, nice tackle.
Creates 2nd down and 7. The Toronto defense wandering around before they get themselves set. Sopik shows a blitz off the edge. He'll come. Creates a void underneath. John Jones makes the tackle, but not until a Calgary first down.
This is what they got to keep doing. Get a little bit of yardage there in 2nd and 7. There's a zone. Here comes Trevor Sopik. Throw behind him, and just make the play for the first down. You're going to up and here. That's what's going to happen. The widest receiver, you're going to have 2 digs. First dig clears out. 2nd dig, you throw underneath it. That's a simple high-low read. Everybody lifts, throw the ball outside for the first down. But you need to be in good yardage position.
Bear fakes the run, slings this one down low and incomplete. Intended for Reggie Beggleton as they keep trying to go back to Reggie here to get the wheels turning on the Stampeders offense, but it'll create 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you know, 2 weeks ago they had a ton of drops against Ottawa, right? This is one of the first drops you're seeing. You got to make sure in Canadian Football League with 2 downs to get a first down, you can't drop the football. I like the movement, trying to help the quarterback get on the edge, but you got to catch the football.
On 2nd and 10, Clark Barnes splits out to the top of your screen. Benji Franklin was out there to defend him. Mayer looks for the crossing route, finds Cole Tucker trying to stretch it around the edge, has to go backwards, tries to bubble around, but great tackle by Royce Metier. Actually, it was Mason Pierce that was down there.
Mason Pierce done a really good job. I love this kid. They like to bring him in some pressure situations, especially last year. He strong hands, does a really good job of coming up and go. This is not easy. Guy wide open, running across the field. You've got to break down, make that tackle. It's a good job to get him off the field. Once again, starting 2nd and 10. That's why they're off the field.
Cody Gray sends it away to Janarian Grant. So another missed opportunity. Got a couple of first downs there for the Stampeders, but unable to flip field position. And with the wind at the back of the Argonauts with each exchange, it goes more and more in the favor of Toronto. There's a 40-yard punt. And Cam Dukes comes out with a 22-6 lead here in Calgary. The Holinga Gretzky Cup features the rising hockey stars at U18 level. Team Canada makes their debut against Switzerland tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on TSN. Go get them, Canada!
Yes.
Cam Dukes with Deontay McMahon and Kadeem Carey in the ball game. Flips this one out into the boundary, incomplete. And right there on the spot, Micah Awe. Haven't said his name a ton here this evening as well, but maybe that's a good thing at times for Micah not having to make every single tackle.
A little bit more of a shot play on the outside, but you can see Calgary starting to say, hey, we need to play a little bit more man-to-man coverage. We need to bring a bit more pressures. Micah Awe just fights off the block. Delivers a blow on the double move play that was trying to be thrown on the outside to Coatsy.
Only 3 incompletions for Cam Dukes here this evening. First time they've had back-to-back incompletions, though, is now underneath. He gets this one into the waiting arms of Devontae Coatsy. Great tackling in the open field once again, as it looks like that was, yes, Williams flying in. Kobe Williams making the play, and that gives him 100 career tackles.
Everyone goes, why do you throw these balls so far underneath sometimes? Well, sometimes you're just trying to, you're looking deep. They drop everybody deep, so you got to throw the underneath, and you hope somebody breaks tackles. 2 series in a row, both Calgary couldn't break the tackles, and now Toronto couldn't break the tackles on the second and long calls.
Haggerty with that drifting wind at his back once again. Kills the play clock as much as he can. They send some pressure, and he turns and flips this one the other direction. So not just the booming boot of Haggerty, but also the directional kicking and playing some games with Cam Eccles as that one rolls out the back of the end zone. That'll add to the average tally. 88 yards. It goes for Haggerty as Jake Serezna and the defense make their way back on the field. And the small school mentality, the driving force behind number 94.
I take a lot of pride in being a small school guy, overlooked a lot coming out, but it kind of keeps that chip on my shoulder and keeps me with that hard work mentality where you got to go out and earn it every day. You got to go out and prove it, and I really feel like that every single day, especially, you know, even in practices and everything, just going out there and proving your worth. And I think that's helped me become a great player.
A little Cortland State love for you there, Lapo?
Division III Cortland State. I know I love my D3 as a D3 football player.
This one incomplete, intended for Peyton Logan as it falls to the turf, and some frustration from the Calgary fans. But Serezna told us this week that he really doesn't like playing against Calgary all that much. Doesn't matter what uniform he's in. He said, I'm kind of treating this like the Labor Day Classic. Well, this is why.
That was the best line. He's like, hey, this is going to be just like the Labor Day Classic for me. I'm going to go get these guys I've played here a bunch of times. I'm going to go make my plays. Yeah, Jake talked about, like, in college, nobody really looked at him at pro day at Cortland State in upstate New York, and he basically had to do a couple of things to actually go to a pro day at a different college where they invite you if it's close to your home, press some people, get in with the Jets.
Taking a shot now down the seam to Peyton Logan, incomplete, but Fraser Sopik will get called for defensive pass interference as Logan slow to get up onto his feet as well.
Pass interference. Toronto, number 32. It's going to be first down for Calgary at the spot of the foul.
Well, they took the shot that we've been waiting for down the field here, Lapo.
Right here is the play. Sometimes you take the tailback, you run them right down the middle of the field. When it's a middle open coverage where there's nobody in the middle of the field, you get a matchup you like, a linebacker with your tailback. Peyton Logan is in the game, a smaller, quicker guy. I like this. They like this matchup, right? I like it too. This gives them an opportunity. Sopik just puts his hands on him, creates the huge penalty.
And now a challenge flag comes out. Ryan Dinwiddie already successful on one early on in this game when he challenged for a potential fumble by Reggie Begelton. Won that, got possession. And he's defending, it looks like, Fraser Sopik from the defensive pass interference call here with this challenge.
Yep, so now we'll try to see what this angle looks like. Really restricts.
Toronto is challenging the ruling on the last play. They believe there should not have been pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
You see some hand play. Here's another look at it. As they're running downfield. Sopic's doing a good job. He's got his right hand there, just trying to push. With that little push right there into his leg is what caused it. I like what he did with his right hand. He's politicking for it.
Well, I'm not sure he's going to reach the people that are going to make the decision
I don't know if
in
the
time.
command center has a video. Do we have a video to him?
A live feed to Fraser Sopic pleading his case.
Yes.
But certainly.
It's a lot of screens there. That's like.
Tough to run with Peyton Logan right down the seam, though. Tough cover for a linebacker like Fraser Sopic.
Yeah, and you can see right here. You can see that right hand, and is there a push on him? This will be interesting. We'll get an announcement soon.
Referee Ben Major has the call.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Toronto loses their challenge and a team timeout.
I don't know if there's just anything conclusive to say that overturn what was on the field.
Yeah, he did get that hand up into the shoulder pads.
At the 38-yard line.
That right leg, did his right leg kind of push into Stephen Logan.
So, albeit through penalty yardage, a little bit of life here for the Calgary Stampeders as they cross midfield on the Fraser Sopic defensive pass interference call.
Into the wind, so this is a long field goal right now, so they need some positive yards. They need to finish with at least 3 points, get it back to a 14-point game.
Well, MDO Jalen Philpott from the backfield, throw it underneath. Reggie Beggleton tries to run away from John Jones, who wraps him up just shy of the 30-yard line.
I like they leak the back out, throw it back inside to Reggie Beggleton. Get the back out in the flat, create some space, throw it to Reggie Beggleton. Nice completion.
Now, Philpott and Cole Tucker come to the sideline. They gave one play off there for Peyton Logan after he was stretching out, trying to reach that Jake Mayer pass attempt on the Fraser Sopic pass interference. And back in the ball game alongside the Stampeders quarterback. Inside handoff, right down the middle of the field. Nice run that time, and they'll pick up the first down.
Calgary creating a couple extra edges. What does that mean? They put extra players at the widest parts of the line of scrimmage so they get opportunities to hit it up inside so nobody can blitz off the edge and get involved in the second and short run. Nice wind back for the first down.
Play clock whistled in here as the Stampeders break the huddle. An extra offensive lineman in as a tight end on the right-hand side of Jake Mayer. Mark Michelle floats out that direction as well. They get the numbers advantage, and they get it to Michelle, who's inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. That'll be close to another first down on first down.
I do like what has happened here. Every time you got a run called and somebody blitzes off this edge, you disengage the run and you throw. This is called a kill. These are called kills. When you have a run play and somebody blitzes your run play, you attach routes to protect you so you don't get a negative yardage play. Jake Mayer throwing it accurately, puts him in second and short again.
Tommy Stevens, short yardage quarterback, into the ball game here against the Argonauts front. Decides to go left this time, has the first down. Pushed backwards by John Jones, and that will do it for the third quarter here. Just 1 quarter remaining in week number 9 of the CFL. 23-6, the Argonauts up over the Stampeders, but Calgary driving, hoping to fight their way back into this one and make it interesting to close out week 9. Back-to-back weeks as it stands right now for the Calgary Stampeders, scoring 6 points, and they have had 0 touchdowns in their last 7 quarters. They're driving right now, Lapo. How do they finally get into the end zone and break whatever funk this is they're in?
Yeah, they've struggled with getting any opportunity of the explosive plays downfield. They just haven't done it. Is there an opportunity on short yardage situations to not get the running play, take a shot downfield? Because it's just too hard for them to manufacture touchdowns right now with how well Toronto's playing defensively, and they're putting them in long yardage situations. So on a second and short, on a second and 1, on a second and 4 to 5, can you take one of those shots when you hope you have a better opportunity of Toronto being close to the line of scrimmage with their defensive backs?
Trying to avoid becoming 1-3 against the East, as well as the East resurges. The strength of the division has shown out this year. The East 12-6 in games against the West, and have won the last 6 interdivisional games versus West Division clubs. So interesting to see Calgary trying to push back against that here to end week number 9 as Mayer floats this one, tipped at the line of scrimmage. It didn't get there the way that Eccles thought it would. Who got their hand up at the line of scrimmage?
Looks like nose guard. Sometimes when you can't get home in your pass rush as you're trying to go, just put your hand up, right? Sometimes you're going to be like, I can't get home. I got 2 linemen blocking me. Throw your hand up, knock the ball down, you get the same result, 2nd and 10.
Robbie Smith, Jake Serezna working on that left-hand side. There's 5 receivers available for Mayer. Flags come up. Mayer looks into the end zone. Markin Michel. Did he haul it in? He did. Touchdown, Calgary. Tightening down the advantage for Toronto. We'll see what the flags are.
Offside, Toronto, number 40. Penalties decline. The result of the play, the touchdown.
The hard count is trying to slow down these pass rushers. The middle of field's wide open. Markin Michel on the double move on the inside. Mechia can't get there in time. Great throw on the inside. Great anticipation by the quarterback here, Jake Mayer. And gives them the opportunity to get back into this game, get this crowd going. It's a really good drive to start the 4th quarter. They've got the wind with them too, Marshall. So, they should gain field position because they got, on every kick play they do throughout this quarter.
8 plays, 70 yards in 3:44. And a 10-point football game after the extra point.
Yeah, you start with a pass interference, and that pass interference flips the field for you a little bit. Reggie Bagleton, he's been great this game. A couple of runs inside. Right, just a rhythm here offensively. Some throws on the outside to make sure they've been in 2nd and 1 a bunch of this game. So now they get the opportunity for the shot play on that nice long drive right there for the finish.
And how about this with Markin Michel getting into the end zone? The 2017 Calgary Stampeders was the last time that they have been able to have 4 receivers cross the 700-yard mark as a group. They had 4 that went over 700 yards. They're on pace for that again this year. Markin Michel did it in 2017 with Calgary. He might do it again here in 2024. In 17, it was Marquay McDaniel, Tavares Daniels, Kamar Jordan, and Markin Michel.
Amazing. I love watching Markin Michel. UMass product. Right? That was a great move. He broke out, broke back in, moved the DB with his hips, and his touchdown.
And the kicking game with this breeze continues to play a factor. Including the touchdown that just happened here, we get a chance to see exactly what the Argonauts have been doing in closeout stages of games throughout this season, Lapo.
Yeah, outscored opponents 69-49 4th quarter this season, 20-point differential. I've seen this defense take over, tell offenses, yeah, you're not going to get any more yards, and sooner or later, this Toronto offense just wears people down because there's so many runs, there's so many chasing across the field. The quarterbacks make people miss, and that's how you can get away. This game gets away from people in the 4th quarter.
You feel the energy has been brought back into the stadium here after that big touchdown, and now there won't be a sack, but a minimal gain for Cam Dukes, continuing to try and use his legs to separate and create some headaches for the Calgary defense. That time Clarence Hicks brings him down.
Yeah, you're getting better protection now, or you get better protection on the perimeter from these quarterbacks breaking contain. Hicks inside, and then Cameron Judge. Hicks goes inside, Cameron Judge comes all the way around to play contain. That's what you do to mobile quarterbacks.
Dukes, pressure on, tries to spin out of it. Hicks gets him. And the momentum rolls on for the Stampeders at home.
Man coverage once again. Watch right there. Watch the rush coming across. So here's what's happening. You see that both left tackle, left guard stopped They thought they heard something. That's what it looks like. They stopped playing football. And again, if you're not sure, you always coach your players, go. Even if you hear a whistle. If somebody on the other side of the line of scrimmage moves, you move.
Leading up to week number 9, the Calgary Stampeders had just 8 sacks. They've got 5 tonight.
We had a 10-yard bench penalty against Calgary for hitting one of our officials. 10 yards applied from the point where the ball went dead. Third down.
So contact with an official, but if that would have been 2nd and 10 or less, that would have been a first down after all that momentum has been built over the last 2 plays and the single and the touchdown. It's basically been 4 straight plays that are pro Calgary in this ball game, and that could have been really, really disastrous.
Yes, and this kick should help Calgary. A kick into the wind. It should put the ball up in the air, should help with the field position. Get 5 to 10 yards better field position as they got the win the rest of this quarter. Don't touch the officials, Marshall, don't touch the officials.
It's a simple rule to follow, right?
They need safety too, right? Player safety, official safety.
They talk things over down on the sideline and now get set to resume play. Haggerty had those booming boots throughout the night. Can he continue it here? In the 4th quarter, into the wind to help maintain a field position advantage for the Argonauts. Something Calgary has not given up much of throughout this year. Best in the Canadian Football League in field position. Low line drive, but he did get a good amount into it as Eccles picks it up. 48-yard punt, and it'll be a return of about 9 yards on the play as Clarence Hicks making his impact felt in Calgary. The first-year player at the University of Texas San Antonio, adding to his season tally. The momentum is all Calgary. Calgary Stampeders with a chance here to add a little bit more pressure on the Toronto Argonauts. They'll flip it underneath and get it to the return specialist. To the outside he goes, Ishmael Hyman, and up to the 55 before he's punched out of bounds into the Stampeders bench. The ball keeps rolling downhill thanks to Hyman and the play call from Dave Dickinson.
Love this play. You're going to run a player down the line of scrimmage, and then he's going to go here. The line is all going to go this way, and you're faking a run this way, but then you flip it to him. There was pressure by the Argonauts. They can't recognize it. Good block on the perimeter. That's what you try to do. Show a run one way and flip the ball the other way on the wrong way run.
Cole Tucker being able to pick up that edge block sprung on. Now let's see who blocks for Reggie Begelton as they go back to the screen game once again and get a gain of 6.
Reggie Begelton is the man of the hour for all these screen passes and throws on the outside. This is good stuff. Keep them in manageable position for a run pass, whatever they need to do here.
We were just asking a minute ago, where's Jalen Philpott?
Yes,
this feels like maybe Philpott will get a touch or two here down the stretch that could make the difference as Cole Tucker checks out and Philpott into the ball game. As he'll cross face, and right there, handoff, Philpott going left to right, makes one man miss, and the former Calgary Dino right here on the same turf picks up the first down on the ground.
I love these type of runs, and what you try to do with these is you're trying to let everybody think the ball is going up and inside here, and then you're just handing it the other way. You don't have to worry about all the blockers on the inside. Gives you an opportunity to rip and run. Let your lineman run to the sideline. Let the lineman run to the sideline and give the ball to a fast guy and let him run around the defense.
Mixing and matching the run looks here. Not late enough in the game, they just have to throw it, so using everything they can. Now Mayer fading away to his left, throws it up! Tavares McFadden was in coverage, but Cam Nichols is into the end zone. He wasn't touched.
There's one of those explosives we talked about. Amazing catch. Throw it up, giving him an opportunity. McFadden just can't high point it, and the awareness to jump into the end zone when he's not touched. What an amazing catch. This is catch of the year. So now they'll take a look and make sure to see whether he's touched or not. Eccles goes up. McFadden has a great jump. He times it. The ball just goes right through his hands.
What a difficult catch from Cam Eccles. Makes the play, gets up, dives into the end zone. As Jake Mayer, a slow start to this one, but the crowd has come alive. Mayer adds another touchdown to his 2024 stat line, and the Stamps are in it.
We talked about explosive football plays had to happen here. What do? You run a double move on the outside. Not a double move. You have one player cancel the high player, and then you have one player run on the low player. Tavares McFadden's the low player. You just run a go by him, and you trust your receiver is going to make a play. We talked about Cam Eccles has some of the best hands on this football team. Tavares McFadden just didn't judge the ball in the air well enough. That's a hard thing for DBs to do. So great execution, Cam Eccles, Jake Mayer.
Deonta McMahon will return this across the 20-yard line, brought down at the 25. I got to say as well, throwing a ball over the top of Tavares McFadden, even when he's in coverage like that, it's kind of like hitting a 9-iron from like 150, but there's a huge tree right in front of the green. How do you drop it down in over the top?
Well, and what did we learn? What did we learn about Cam Eccles here? They talked about how good of a receiver he is. He's got such body awareness and ability to look the ball into his hands. Spectacular. And I like you went to talking about golf, because Jake Mayer talked about is the best golfer. He got his 9-iron out, and he put it right to Cam Eccles. Unbelievable.
Exceptional as McFadden had a chance at it, but Eccles, the hand-eye, the athleticism, the awareness. That was one heck of a play for the Western Kentucky grad.
And offensively, every once in a while, you're going to try to take a shot play. That's a safe shot play. A lot of teams in the Canadian Football League, they run one player inside right down the seam, and then usually if you have a low player, you try to run by that low player, the corner McFadden, and it's just a one-on-one matchup. And you try to do that one every quarter or so, and you hope for the best. It was a great throw and catch.
That stat line looking a lot healthier than it did when Jake Mayer headed down the tunnel to end the first half, as it was 4 plays, 80 yards in under 2 minutes, and finished off by that man, Cam Eccles.
And I just keep thinking about this. It's a pretty good win today, and the win, Calgary's got the win. So I think every time there's a kick play to Toronto, they're going to gain field position. They'll just keep clawing back the field position and put them in position to win the game.
Derek Parrish out of Houston, gingerly off onto the sideline there, has a sack and a couple of special teams tackles. He was obviously now trying to help the return unit. He'll have to watch from the sidelines here as Cameron Dukes goes to Kevin Mittal, 5th overall pick of the draft this year, gets a touch and a gain of 6.
Same quick screens here, but they've been doing all game. Kevin Mittal, really good player. I know the coaches really love him. They say he's an outstanding player that they think they can use, as I was told, the Dembski role, which everybody kind of talks about now with Nick Dembski being a running back and a great receiver. So they're going to give him some opportunities to run the football this season, and also, in these quick screens, get the ball in his hands.
Nobody's Nick Dembski.
Nobody's Nick Dembski.
Cam Dukes struggling in the second half. Looking to try to change that. He'll use the legs just like he did in the first. And he picks up the first down. Unable to get there was the Calgary defensive line. Dukes is starting to get that feeling again for the pressure.
More pressure coming. Mittal, you'll see from the top at the top of the screen, actually comes in and blocks. And then what happens, Cameron Judge has to peel with the back. There's no contain. So that gives Cameron really good recognition about Cameron that when Judge left, I've got the opportunity to run the ball up and inside.
His first to second to third read, got off it, looked down the field, used the legs. We've seen that a lot tonight from Cam Dukes. Hands off here to Kadeem Carey. Julian Hauser will rip him down to the turf. But a nice piece on first down with the ground game.
Really good. This is how they've been playing their game. Couple of plays, let Cameron Dukes run it, a couple inside runs. Some of them working, some put it second and short here. they have to have something of their own. They got to do a Kevin Mattel. They got to do something that's not Kadeem Carey always inside, so they can create an explosive in their run game. Speed sweep, something on the perimeter like Calgary's done.
Brett Monson dialing it up for the Stampeders defense, trying to get a stop. Get the football back as Carey bounces off 2 tacklers. Like Keelan Thomas was the one that made first contact with him, and then another Stampeder came flying in, and Carey's been putting the shoulder down and through people the last couple weeks.
Yeah, every time he ends up winding back, which happens here, he starts to wind back. There's pressure. Again, they didn't make the tackle. Calgary's in the backfield. You know, as a D coordinator, you're frustrated when you're in the backfield, you're in a position to make the tackle and you can't. But hey, good running backs lift their legs, get them off the ground, and have high knee action. Great high knee action for the first down.
Hard living for Kadeem Carey. 0 runs of 20+ this year, but he's averaging 5.5 per. Now Cam Dukes hands it off once again. And on first down, looks like they'll get a gain of 3.5, 4 on the play, and they'll make some substitutions. Out goes Kadeem Carey and Albert Awashe, the fullback.
This is a good drive. Flipping the field, so if they do have to punt, they're going to make it a really long field for the Calgary Stampeders. Getting the run game going, leaning on this top offensive line, rushing the football in the Canadian Football League.
Ryan Dinwiddie would love to get a victory here in Calgary. Snap their undefeated home streak to start this season. Cam Dukes down the middle of the field, shot play over the top, into danger. Kobe Williams, the closest player there, trying to find Davaris Daniels, incomplete.
This is, you know, on second and medium, this is, hey, let's take a shot here. So they're gonna trust the protection's gonna hold up. You watch right here, it's gonna be a dig, and then he takes the dig upfield. So this is called what you call a stutter. He's going to start breaking in, and then he stutters, trying to get on the free safety, trying to get Bentley Sanders to trying to get an opportunity to get over the top of him. Just missed the throw a little bit. That's why you take some of those shots on second and medium, because that's when you're getting opportunities with the DBs up closer to the line of scrimmage.
Just shy of midfield here is where they'll snap it back to Haggerty. Wobbling boot drops down to the 15-yard line as he'll get pushed out of bounds. Will Hyman as Cam Eccles into the end zone and hoping he can have a repeat performance and take the lead. Stamps down just 2. Coming off a 33-6 loss on the road in Ottawa. It was a slow start for Jake Merritt, but he dialed up Mark and Michelle and then found Cam Eccles back-to-back touchdowns here in the 4th quarter.
Got the short game going. They're able to get some decent drives. Take this opportunity for a shot play on a great opportunity on the outside for the one-on-one. Really good stuff from the Calgary Stampeders.
See if they can continue it here. Down by 2. Reggie Begelton makes the grab up to the 26-yard line as we roll towards 6 minutes remaining in this ball game.
This is what he talked about. I'm going to get the ball out of my hands. This is what Jake Merritt talked about. He said, I'm going to get the ball out of my hands quickly. We're facing a really good front, right? If I see a crossing route's open, I'm going to get that throw to put myself not in harm's way with this front and not behind the sticks is a term he talked about. What's that mean? 2nd and 10 or greater against this great front. So good. Just get the ball out of your hand when you see open people.
What's coming down the middle as Mayer gets it away. Low, it skips into the waiting hands. Is that Cole Tucker? It is. And they'll say that he made the grab and spot the football just shy of the first down marker. Expect Tommy Stevens to head off the sideline. But let's get a look at this potential catch.
Love it. Love how Cole, I love how what he bends his knees down, gets as low as possible, gets his hands underneath the ball. That's a great catch to get that 3rd and 1 opportunity for the quarterback sneak here.
Tommy Stevens in 3rd and 1, down by 2, 5 minutes left in their own end of the field. They've been perfect throughout the season. Not a ton of momentum on this one, but still looks like they're good as now a wrestling match behind the play breaks out.
A fight breaks out.
And flags are everywhere. So after the play is done, was it Peyton Logan? It was that was getting mixed up with the Argonauts.
Yeah, we do not want to lose their only running back. Little guy packs a punch, packs a wallop.
And he's been extremely useful, swing screens and everything else out of the backfield. So even if he's not pounding it for 100+ yards on the ground tonight, he's certainly having an impact on the game. And expect these to be offsetting, you would have to think, at this point in the ball game, unless someone went out of their way to give our officiating crew, led by Ben Major, a reason to penalize them for 15 yards.
Yeah, and this after the ball stuff is going to be URs that, you know, that get added to people's totals, right? The league talked about, we don't want this after the ball stuff. So two of them.
The result of the play, the first down. Afterwards, there's misconduct penalties. There's 4 of them. 84 and 20 Calgary. 19 and 9 Toronto. Everything offsets. It's first down for Calgary.
So Priester and Royce Metier for the Toronto Argonauts. Peyton Logan and Reggie Beggleton in the fray for Calgary, but they do offset. Instead of 2, they give out 4, and it is a first down thanks to Tommy Stevens and the short yardage group. So Jake Mayer. 1st and 10. Argos send 5. Calgary protects it. Markin Michel makes the grab. In front of Mason Pierce and John Jones, it's Michel once again.
Good vision by the quarterback. What do you do when you got a guy playing off? Just take the ball, rip it, put it on his outside shoulder. He saw soft coverage by the halfback, right? When the halfback's that far off, just going to take it and take the throw.
Tommy Stevens in once again with a full yard to go on 2nd down. Everyone tightens down, and Stevens over the top saw the opening and took it.
Automatic, and then J.J. Jones right there and say, hey, maybe we have another fight. Again, this is another, they do not want to go inside. That's been their MO all game. They've gone out to the wider where the defensive ends are. They don't want to go rush inside where Serezna and Hawley is, this wider wedge.
There with the hard count here, trying to get a look at the Argonauts defense. 4-man rush, looks to his left, gets it incomplete. Markin Michel breaks a tackle, running away from Jones, who brings him down at the 36-yard line. Into Toronto territory go the Stampeders once again.
An inside move. Michel's going to break in and then back out. Keep the will inside. That's what you're trying to do. Keep the will inside so you create space on the outside. As the coverage lifts, you throw it outside to him. Really excellent execution and a really good pass protection. I thought that play was going to take a little bit more time to develop. Really good pass protection. Here's a couple of thoughts watching how they've adjusted Calgary. Every 2nd and long, there's been a hard count, Marshall, right? And that 1st and 10, they did what is what you call a Kodak, where you reset the defense, where you fake a cadence and you come back. They are trying to slow this pass rush down, and I like it. It helps. It's going to help that pass rush.
Fraser Sopik is down as Markin Michel looks at his left foot on the sideline as well. The 3-minute warning. We'll be back with the finish from McMahon next. New York Fries Thursday Night Football kicks things off in week number 10. How is it week 10 already?
Oh my God.
Riders and the Red Blacks, Friday Night Football, a rematch of these two, but it's at BMO Field in Toronto. Then it's the Ticats and the Alouettes, a rematch also from week number 9. And BC and Edmonton will round things out, as expect to see Trey Ford with yet another start for the Edmonton Elks, getting his opportunity there. But a great week of football here this weekend, and looking forward to more of it coming up in week number 10. Jake Mayer would love to go into the rematch at BMO Field with a victory. They'll hand off to Peyton Logan here, who sidesteps one tackler, makes another miss, and then wrapped up and brought down for the loss of about 1, 2nd and 11.
Sometimes the hard part when you do have a guy who isn't a starting tailback, you know, like sometimes when you keep winding it back, you're going to put yourself in a tough position. So we would have liked to maybe just hammered it up inside and not wind it all the way back. Only gets 1 yard.
Well, tough down and distance here. The 2-deep key for the Calgary Stampeders. They rank number 8 in 2nd down conversions at 40% coming in. They have yet to convert at above 50% in any game this year. They need it now, or at least over the next 2 plays. Jalen Philpott blocks. Mayer gets it away into traffic off the hands of Cole Tucker, incomplete with Metier right there in coverage.
Yeah, a little dangerous throw, trying to throw over the top of the linebackers. And if you look, you just got to be cautious sometimes when you have these throws over here to the boundary. 3 receivers over here. So what they're trying to do is hold the linebacker in by pushing him in, making sure it's a dig, and then bang it back out. But if the linebacker is overplaying it, you got to make sure you got to find somewhere else as a check down, or else you didn't want to take these points off the board.
2 for 2 today as Rene Paredes steps in from 44 yards away to try and take the lead. For the first time, the Calgary Stampeders have the advantage on the scoreboard with 2:05 remaining, and what a fourth quarter, Lapo.
Yeah, Reggie Begelman talked about it at halftime. He said, hey, what's going to happen here? Hey, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. We're going to make our plays in the second half, and they have, offensively and defensively. Give the defense some credit too, trying to get Cameron Dukes off the field. Really good things by the Calgary Stampeders team.
And Reggie Begelman, you said, predicted it at halftime. He said it so casually. It's kind of like, yeah, I've been here in Calgary for a long time. We're patient. We kind of find our spots. And 18-0 in the fourth quarter. And if you want to see the mental resolve of a Toronto Argonauts club, why not do it where you give up a big lead, you're on the road, and you're playing against a team that knows you very, very well. This is a huge challenge for Cam Dukes to try and get the victory.
Yeah, and they're not a team built to just start throwing the ball up and down the field. So there's 2:05 left. There's plenty of time to be able to mount a drive. Just get Cameron Dukes in rhythm, let him use his legs. Now, you understand that Calgary is going to do something to slow down his run game using his legs on second down.
Paredes sends it away to the same end. He just kicked the potentially game-winning field goal. Janarian Grant, dangerous as ever, returns across the 25, and they pinned him in, not letting Grant get free for a second.
Yeah, hats off to Mark Killen's group. I mean, this is Janarian Grant, as he said, one of the best in the business, one of the best he's ever seen, and Janarian Grant has not been a factor today.
So here comes the crowd noise in Calgary as Cam Dukes will feel like this field is tilted directly into his face. It's not just the breeze. It's the noise and the defense and the downhill momentum of the Stampeders in this fourth and final quarter. Looks quick to his left, comes back right, checks it down. Kadeem Carey, big collision. Micah Awe.
This is exactly what Cameron Dukes wants to do. Everybody plays off in zone. The back is not going to be covered. Get yourself a completion. You're in 2nd and 5. That's a perfect play for the defense, but great by the offense, but great play by Howard.
Dukes stands in all day against a 3-man rush. Now finally settles for the check down. And on 2nd and medium, did he get enough to move the chains? They'll spot it. Moving backwards a little bit. Halfway between the 39 and the 40. And once they put the football down, that is a first down, but just barely.
Trying to take those shots outside. Great protection by the Argos offensive line. Why? Because Calgary played coverage, didn't have anywhere to go. But when the back's out there, 5-yard gains are real easy when you can just check it to the back.
Dukes, pressure on, right into his face. Mike Rose pushed the pocket all the way back.
Right here, one-on-one situation. Mike Rose wins the one-on-one by just a power move, just driving the right guard straight back. McAleer all the way back into the quarterback. Now, this is Calgary. Last 2 plays are in zone coverage. Change it up. Let's change the Rolodex. Went to man coverage on the perimeter. Said, let's go get after the quarterback. Right? Great rush by Rose.
An insult to injury now. They have to check out Gregor McCullough after he was beat. Landon Rice into the ball game. Cam Dukes, 2nd and 16. Once again, goes to Kadeem Carey. Makes the first
Aaron Judge sprinting to the sideline as everybody's lifted. All you want to do now is turn him back to your teammates. Let us wrap him up, get him off the field on 2nd and extra.
Snap comes up quickly here for Dukes, who looks over the middle. Pass is knocked down. 3rd and 6, and a turnover on downs. There are no flags.
Well, Julian Hauser couldn't get there with the rush, just threw the hands up. Creates a huge turnover. Outstanding defensive drive.
Talk about Jake Serezna loving playing against the Calgary Stampeders. Well, Hauser spent a lot of time with the Tiger Cats. He might like playing against the Argos.
A little bit of movement here, but then he just says, I'm just going to stand up. I'm going to make sure the quarterback's not going to run, and I'm waiting, and I'm just going to jump up when the rusher comes, when the pass comes up in the air. So outstanding job. Now you just got to run the ball, protect your edges, take as much time off the clock, get a first down, and you're in a good position. You see the max protection right here with the extra edges.
Calgary trailed 23-6 after 3 quarters of play. They now lead 24-23. 1 minute remaining.
Timeout.
And already right on the edge of Rene Paredes' field goal range.
These are my best, man.
Rene Paredes has had a few end-of-game winners in this stadium.
Okay, timer, please reset the game clock to 104. 104, please.
Yep. With Paredes knocking it through to give Calgary the advantage. Continues a trend of 2024 field goal percentage sitting at 87%, second highest in league history, but winning and losing clubs, huge split. If you hit, you win. If you don't, you lose. And Rene Paredes is as money as they come. The punting game today for Toronto exceptional, but it was Paredes 3-for-3 helping out his offense and Jake Mayer as they try to salt this one away and maintain their undefeated streak at home. Pressure on from the Argonauts. They'll hand it off up the middle, and Peyton Logan nowhere to go. John Jones there to make the play, and now Paredes wanders off the sideline, and what will they go with? It is the field goal unit.
Mark Killam, special teams coordinator for the Stampeders, just talked about, I asked him about Rene, and he just said he's as cool as ice. He's just, he shows up every day, and you'd think he was a rookie, how he prepared and how we practiced every day. But when in the big time moments, he was cool and he was focused and ready to go.
Well, this is going to be a deep shot, but these are the moments that Rene Paredes has lived for throughout his career here in Calgary. 49 yards, just shy of 50, where he's made 14 of his last 17 attempts. Steps through, turns around, knew he nailed it from the second it left his foot.
Standing hold, clean hit, money.
Four for Rene Paredes. His season high is 6.
Great hold by Cody Grace.
Yeah, but he'll take that one with the help of his friends. Aaron Crawford on the snap, Cody Grace on the hold.
Can we stay with special teams for a second,
yeah.
Marshall? All right, with all the holders now being punters in the Canadian Football League, basically every holder in the CFL is a punter. They've got the ability to practice. They don't wait for the quarterback. They can practice all day on their fundamentals. Long snapping, the hold, and the kick without waiting for the quarterback back in the days when you used to hold. So that's a great thing.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to hold.
All the punters in the Canadian Football League are also the holders.
Far too much responsibility. So shout out to Cody Grace for taking that on, and the punters across the Canadian Football League. As Janarian Grant trying to make some magic at McMahon. Up the middle, big contact. The special teams unit flying down the field is Keelan Thomas, the Canadian from the Okanagan Sun, first on the scene.
Brendan Dozier in there a little bit too. Really good. Whoa. Dozier, Thomas. This unit has been outstanding. They rose to the challenge. Mark Killam talked about, we are ready to kick to him and we are going to tackle him. Great tackle. Dozier and Thomas in there. Good rundown. Great play.
Huge contact. And even Thomas is feeling that one a little bit. He continues to make plays.
So with 33 here left, you've got to flip the field. So all your pass routes, you got to be thinking about, all right, I have to have 20-yard chunks here. So you got to try to conserve time. You're going to be in a no-huddle situation. As soon as the ball's caught, everybody's running back up to the line of scrimmage, making sure they can call. They should have what are called coded words, where one word tells you the protection, the formation, and the football play. So as soon as when the clock is running, they can call the play quickly and lose no time. So it doesn't matter whether you throw it in, out of bounds, we're in the middle of the field, the clock will stop. Just get up to the line of scrimmage, call that coded word as fast as you can so you can get yourself, you need at least 3 or 4 chunks here.
And perhaps the Argonauts' most dangerous weapon when it comes to speed and open field playmaking is down on the turf as Janarian Grant up onto his feet slowly to a round of applause.
Great to see him up. Rutgers product. So for Calgary, it's, hey, we just got to make sure we stay behind. Don't fall for a double move. Teams will try to still do double moves, and some people in these situations actually fall for double moves. So keep everything behind you. Don't let the quarterback get 20 yards on a rush.
And Julian Hauser get to the quarterback like he did with the knockdown on the last drive. Over the top to Monte Coxie. This one out of bounds. Incomplete. Second down and 10.
It's a good safe call. Big, tall receiver, give you an opportunity on the sideline to flip the field. And the Calgary Stampeders are not going to allow Cameron Judge. Calgary Stampeders are telling Cameron Judge, I don't want you in coverage. I want you looking exactly at Cameron Judge.
Long on the year for DeMonte Coxie is 37 yards in terms of reception. He'll need something much more than that if they want to get into position here. Down the field, narrowly intercepted.
Over here, you're going to see the throw. And Bentley Sanders just drives on that in-breaking move.
And Dukes, 3rd and 10. Loads it up. Looks down the middle of the field. Caught. Richie Sindani in between coverage. Moves the sticks all the way out to the 50, and Toronto has to go fast. 14 seconds remaining.
So hurry up goes.
And Dave Dickinson having a conversation now on the sideline. Julian Hauser looked like he was going to try to get to the sideline. Dickinson is furious.
Not sure what Dave is angry about.
A substitution issue there, but regardless, it gave the Argonauts about 15 seconds to talk it over. Now Dukes looks in behind coverage once again. Big hit up in the air, intercepted. Ball game. Demario Houston seals it for the Stamps.
Physicality, springs the ball loose up in the air to Demario Houston. Basically running the exact same play they completed. It's just to the boundary. Micah Alway was told by his defensive coordinator, Brett Munson, is one of the most physical football players on our team. And good things happen when people run to the ball carrier and they hit them full speed, knocks the ball out, gets Demarion Houston the opportunity for the pick.
Ball game, I call game, baby.
He heard the call. Ball game. Stampeders will move to 4-0 at home. 4-4 overall in the West as Reggie Beggleton called it for us at halftime. Said, just wait, you'll see. This is going to be a lot better second half. Well, even the third quarter wasn't all that great, but trailing 23-6 at the end of 3 quarters of play, the Stamps come all the way back. 27-23 with 21 unanswered to finish the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you talked to Ryan Dimwitty. He says, you know, I have not beaten Calgary yet. I haven't been over there and I haven't won over there. I got to break that streak. Not tonight. Really good performance by Calgary. A team effort in the second half.
Nick Arbuckle, one of the many former Stampeders connections there with Dave Dickinson, and Dickinson will be happy to go to Toronto, BMO Field, next Friday night, where these two teams will match up against each other once again. It was a slow start, a little sluggish overall, all 3 units for the Calgary Stampeders, but all of a sudden the fourth quarter hit, and the wave of momentum could not be stopped. That'll do it for week number 9. We kick off week 10 with New York Fry's Thursday Night Football. Riders and the Red Blacks on Thursday at 7. For Paul Lapalisse, Farhan Lalji, I'm Marshall Ferguson. Thanks for watching.